everybody! Thursday evening or afternoon or whatever, it's the round table day. We are still coming live to you right now. Despite all that's going on, we are still here for some What If-Free. The What If train does not stop. I am MasakoX, and this is the What If Round Table. I am joined as per usual by Sophie B.
Hello!
And of course, Haverok. Haverok?
Must...
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, is he broken?
Technical difficulties?
I mean, either technical difficulties or he's gone to get some more cake again.
Could be.
No.
We kind of triggered his sweet tooth before we started the stream, so...
Oh yeah, no, because Philly and I, we made some rocky road earlier this week, so yeah, that when we were talking about that and yeah, stuff like that. We haven't had a response, but basically Haverok will be joining us. We were literally just talking to him a minute ago. But anyway, the round
very literally.
the round table is our weekly live stream where we talk about what ifs with you guys. You suggest what ifs in the form of a super chat. It helps support the channel, and it's a very good way of cataloging all the what ifs. That means we can get through them because we do get a lot of them. And just so you know, if you're not able to do a super chat, that's totally fine. We do read all the comments, and we are always listening, so don't worry. And some of the best examples we do get from what ifs, they do end up becoming videos. So, you know, just you never know. Your idea could end up becoming a video and you'll get all the kudos. So that's what we will be doing here. And I will be doing a quick pause at 8 o'clock UK time due to the fact there is a thing, clap for our carers thing from the NHS's behalf. So that's what we'll be doing at 8 o'clock. So, you know, if you are in the UK, or in theory around the world, we'll just do a quick round of applause for all the healthcare workers who are taking care of everybody right now and show our solidarity in the form of clapping. Because clapping's nice. But yeah, so let's get things kicked off.
I'm sorry, my internet briefly died just as we started. Yay!
It's okay, don't worry about it, mate. We were just saying that we probably thought that you went to get us some more cake, because we were talking about pastries earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, so, okay. So, let us get on with various bits and pieces. Alright, the first one we've got is from Tempest Mask 1000. And it says, "Hi Mars, Sophie and Hav. If Pan had Super Saiyan, how did you manage to imagine the design? It could be speculated or from any fan manga anime that shows her using it." Well, honestly, I've seen loads of old classic, like, Super Saiyan Pan designs from way back in the day, including a really bad MS Paint version from basically a clip from the GT opening, and AF put on it from, like, the late 90s or something like that. Back when MS Paint was what most of us could get. So we had that, but honestly, I think the image that I had from the thumbnail for my discussion... Yeah, that's the one, Haverok. We'll include that. We'll include that link in the chat. So, yeah, to get some context, that's what I was talking about. Well found. Well found.
They just used the filler tool.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that, in a way, that's not far off. But the thumbnail when I did like female Super Saiyans back in 2016, that was like my second breakout video, and that was like before Caulifla was a thing and stuff like that. So. We had that. So, I think that's how I'd imagine it. How would you two imagine, Super Saiyan Pan?
Well, I mean, Super Saiyan, you've got a very iconic formula going on when you talk Super Saiyan. So you gotta make sure that you include the spikes, because I'm sure that even Saiyans who didn't have spiky hair get the spikes. I mean, we see as much with Trunks. Trunks' hair is straight, and it's like Bulma's until you go Super Saiyan, at which point, oh, it's spiky. So you wouldn't just have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed version of Pan. You'd have to come up with like a spiky style to mess with her hair. Probably like when she transforms, like her headband, her bandana goes like flying off, and oh, that's a good image. That's a pretty good image, Have. Although I don't think I'd include the bandana. I think like when she transforms, you usually get that like ferocity and stuff. I'd have like the bandana fly off, and then she'd have the spiky hair.
Well, we all know what happened with Trunks' jacket. It's like...
Oh yeah. Oh no, that was the only jacket I had. Mom's gonna kill me.
It's like, oh damn it, my jacket!
Oh,
That came out of nowhere in that
Yeah.
it's literally just out of nowhere.
Having
Like,
said that,
why did your jacket?
I always thought that whenever I watched that. I thought, oh damn, his jacket.
Oh, it's okay, guys. It's only the movie continuity. I'm movie Trunks. I have no future.
Goku,
Much,
an option Goku
much
could
like
have said
much
is
like
like,
Super Trunks.
hey Trunks, are you feeling a little cold? I mean, you haven't got your jacket.
Oh my god. But yeah, similar situation with Pan going Super Saiyan, losing the bandana. It kind of it also kind of works as a visual medium of showing like Pan having some kind of like character growth to lose that, you know.
Symbolism.
I would say,
Yes.
I would at least, in Super Saiyan 1, I would keep the bandana, but like as soon as she would go Master Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2, that like as much as the bang would be down, the bandana is gone. That would be the equivalent of bang being down.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. That is
The bandana is gone. Repeat, the bandana is gone.
No, but the bandana would be down, as in it's gone. Bandana is down. Alright, Tempest asks another one. Based on Dragon Ball Heroes, what if Majin Vegeta went Super Saiyan 3? Well, Vegeta hasn't really mastered that transformation. So if Majin
Well, he
Vegeta-
thinks it's worthless.
Yeah, no, exactly. So he's not really bothered training in it. That's the thing. So if Majin Vegeta was commanded, like basically Barbody had more control over Majin Vegeta. So could command him, like saying, oh, this Saiyan has more power behind him. I'm going to coax that out of him. And then basically, boom, he goes Super Saiyan 3. But since Vegeta originally elected to basically just go, oh, screw this power, barely knows how to do it, he's going to burn through it quickly and then fall out of it. And then,
Also, at this point of the story, wasn't it told that it required the whole other world training part?
There's an implication that the only reason that Goku was able to achieve it was because of the fact he was training on King Kai's planet in Otherworld while dead and didn't have the same kind of stamina constraints that an actual mortal would have.
It would have taken
living
longer.
on Earth.
It would have taken longer in the mortal in the mortal world.
Yeah.
It would have taken much longer.
But I mean, we see Vegeta's disdain for the form like from the get-go, to the point to where like he considers it a joke if we really break it down. Like even when you look at like both the anime and the manga versions of like the Trunks Goku fight that then leads up into the Trunks facing off against Vegeta, and like Trunks even mentioning Super Saiyan 3, because of course Goku uses Super Saiyan 3 against Trunks to test his power. Vegeta's just like, ha! Don't even talk to me about that stupid technique. This is what you should be striving for, and shows off the Super Saiyan God blue form. And it's like, oh my god! It's like, yeah, Vegeta and Vegeta's always been a lot more like self-conscious of like stamina requirements of that sort of stuff, at least up until we had Goku showcase like, well, I should say even then he was still conscious of it, because like, for example, we have Trunks doing the whole like Ultra Super Saiyan thing where he bulks up but he's slow and he's losing his energy even though he's much stronger, and it's like, oh, Vegeta can do that too, he just didn't bother because he knows better. And even in the manga version, I think it was, of the Tournament of Power, you had Vegeta going in and out of Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue in order to conserve his energy from the transformations. So I really don't think Vegeta would ever have any inclination to use Super Saiyan 3 at all.
No.
He just hates the form.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's got a hate boner for that, certainly. Alright, Brendan Little is next. Here's one for fun. Assuming that the turned good boys, Raditz, Nappa, etc., found themselves at King Kai, what jokes would they tell to get training? I would imagine that Cell will come up with some bug, some bug kind of puns, that kind of stuff.
I think 21 would go for like a wholesome bug joke, Yeah, like some story that's more wholesome than funny, and like for sure, Raditz would tell some hair jokes.
And then Nappa would go, as for me, I tell the opposite because I'm bald. And it's just like, oh, you got the example because he's got lots of hair and you don't. That's funny. You guys would make a really good double act. And it's like, all right, okay, you made your point. It's like, you made your point, chums. All right, you're in. All right, Poda is next. What if Devil Artemis's videos were canon? Oh, if Devil Artemis's videos were canon, Dragon Ball would be weird. Very, very weird.
I haven't seen any of Devil Artemis's videos, so I couldn't say.
Well, he basically just extenuates the Cell versus versions and does something more like Damian Clark and all that kind of stuff. So, just very random types of things. He works regularly with Kagi. As in, like, that's why the whole, of course you do. It's like my Uncle Kagi once said, with great power become, and all that kind of stuff. Spider Kermit and stuff like that. Because,
I haven't seen any of that.
It's a lot to get into. It's a lot to get into, let's just say that. Alright, next up is Kenshin491. What if the Super Saiyan TFS slowly, from TFS slowly ate away at the sanity or humanity of the user, and be counteracted with prolonged mental training? That actually is kind of a theory I had when we were talking about and discussing, when Goku was originally thinking, is Goku evil? With that whole shenanigans. Way back, back when, at the start of the Tournament Power thing. I thought it was like the whole thing of erosion of like Super Saiyan over time was like eroding that kind of stuff in the purity of Goku in that regard, because you had to get angry at first, at least in US 7, to get that form. So I think in a way, if Goku had a refresher course with Pibara, or some time with Kami just meditating, or even with Piccolo, could help. It could have helped in some way. So that would make Piccolo relevant again. It's like, well, you kept saying meditation was all baloney. Look who needs me now. It's like, and Pibara's like, well, Goku, coming back again now, are we? Are you going to finish your training, or are you just going to go off home again after you got bored? That's how I imagine Pibara sounding.
I always like the idea of potential negative consequences that heroes have to overcome. You don't see that like super often with Dragon Ball, and even when they do present like a possible like negative consequence, like they get over it so quickly that it doesn't really matter in the long run. Yeah, it's one of the big like the slip-ups that I've seen throughout Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, even especially with handling of characters like Gohan and stuff like that, is they'll present something that's like, oh, this is a negative consequence of this, like lack of training or getting soft or whatever, but then they get rid of it super quick, because it's like, oh well, people have been complaining about Gohan being irrelevant for years now. We need to finally listen to them. Let's just solve his problem in a few hours, and then he can be in the Tournament of Power and ultimately still wind up doing nothing.
Yep.
Yep. No, totally. Oh, by the way, guys, let's get the likes up to 100. 100 likes for the video, because we're like sitting at 50 right now. All right.
Give us some power.
Yes. Mean Crank. What if Caulifla and Kaba were Universe 7 Saiyans, and acted as another party in the same Namek sagas? Maybe hailing from a group of Saiyans that missed the last Space Buster Vegeta. Possible. potentially possible with the fact that, you know, in our theory, for Haverok and I, we tend to think that before they went to planet Vegeta, there were tribes of Saiyans, and the winning tribe were the ones that went to Vegeta. So, say for example, there were this last little tribe that were on planet Sadala, you know, the remnants and the wreckage of that planet, and they were able to kind of like cobble it together, like a different variety of Saiyans who would get the Super Saiyan powers slightly differently, all that kind of stuff.
And the thing to be, interesting is that if we would have, those characters in, in Universe 7, like the one that you listed, the problem is, do we want to keep the age gap the same? Because then they wouldn't be born yet at the time of the explosion.
Yes, it's not quite clear how old.
It wouldn't take much to adjust them, because like Caulifla and Kale and a lot of the Saiyans from Universe 6, as we've seen them, are very clearly supposed to be kind of like parallel designs or concepts to our Universe 7 Saiyans, because Kaba is a parallel to Vegeta, Caulifla is a parallel to Goku, Kale is a parallel to Broly, so it really wouldn't take much. You just say that their age is different, and there you go. Especially since it really won't matter in the long run, because Saiyans don't age the same way as humans do.
Yeah, quite right. Absolutely.
I was just thinking, because for me, one of the essences of this character is that age gap between them and Goku and Vegeta, This is...
the thing is that
like a generation.
Go ahead.
They are like Gohan's generation, if not younger. They are like generation between like Gohan and Goten. And
I'd say they're closer in age to Gohan than they are to Goku and Vegeta.
Out of the three of them, is the oldest, probably, because she does act like she acts like the matriarch of the group, as in, it's like, hey, punks, you're basically around me. I'm the top dog here.
She may as well be the youngest, just to be the blackest.
You gotta kind of remember, though, that there's a reason why they were designed younger, and that's all because of it's all because of the meta, like the studio meta, the demographics meta, and stuff like that. I mean, there's a reason why she's basically portrayed as a Sukeban, she's portrayed as like this boss delinquent. Caulifla's portrayed as this like boss delinquent character. Kale is her meek hanger-on, and Kaba is like he's the heroic protagonist of another story, a different story, than Dragon Ball is.
I think of like the Bonds Beyond Time Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. Protagonist. Every time I hear protagonist. Protagonist. But no, you are quite right though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Podo is next. Why are you so adamant about Broly destroying the planet if he lands on Earth? Did you never see Carthu's What If on the subject? Yeah, no, that is a very fair point. Broly, most of the time he probably would be a little bit more stable, but the original Broly, the new Broly, perfectly able to, cope, that kind of stuff. Much more controllable. Just tell that to Paragus. But the OG Broly was such a loose cannon, like... I'd imagine it wouldn't take much to destroy the planet. And also, it's good to have variety. I don't want to copy Carthu all the time. That kind of stuff. We all want to have different variations and that kind of stuff. We all want to have our own variations of stories. So, I don't watch his videos entirely, and every single one of them, to try and make sure that I don't, go that way.
I just do what comes natural and logical to me.
Oh, no,
and like, even if Broly would be stable for some time, there would be that time when he goes Ozaru, and Broly Ozaru would be much, much worse than Goku Ozaru.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But tell you what, this time around, I won't play the sound. How about that? Is that a fair compliment? Yeah. Alright, Brendan Little says, fun fact, Hideo Kojima used the breathing through skin shtick to account for the Metal Gear Solid character Quiet, having to wear a bikini despite being a sniper. With that logic in mind, shouldn't Krillin fight in a Speedo from now on? Well,
No,
to
and
be
I'll tell
fair-
you why.
Go on.
No, and I'll tell you why. Kojima himself contradicted himself with this explanation because guess what? The silence also breathes through his skin and utilizes photosynthesis in order to sustain himself for long periods of time as a super sniper. And guess what he wore? A ghillie suit. So the whole breathing through the skin requires a bikini nonsense is or not the silence, sorry, the end, not the silence, the end.
Oh,
The end. The end was an old man who wore a ghillie suit, but he also did the breathing through the skin thing and utilized photosynthesis in order to survive for long periods of time out in the wilderness while doing sniper stuff. So literally Kojima was just trying to think of an excuse to have a woman in a bikini.
Yeah,
Now,
I did
could Krillin rock the Speedo? Yes, Krillin
totally.
could absolutely rock the Speedo because he may be small, but we all know he lifts.
I'm built for aerodynamics, baby. Small and sleek. That's my motto. Yes.
I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to downgrade Krillin or anything, but who doesn't in Dragon? Who doesn't lift?
Well, and he also manscapes.
Yep.
As
It's hygienic.
DBZA Canon. There you go.
Yeah.
Alright, Paparazzi's next. What if Goku tried to recruit Jackie Chun for the Tournament of Power? I think Goku is like, somebody would who's gonna be the one to tell him? Or Roshi would be like, you really don't know. Goku, I basically told you. It's me. No way. It's you, Master Roshi? You know Jackie Chun? Can you introduce me to him? Oh my goodness.
I think that all things considered, I think that if Roshi had not yet convinced Goku that Jackie Chun was just himself, given the fact that he already utilized the Jackie Chun and Master Roshi are brothers excuse back when Goku and him first fought in the Tournament of Power, or not Tournament of Power, sorry, World Martial Arts Tournament. God, too many tournaments. That's shonen for you. He would have probably just said, my brother died like 10 years ago, Goku. He can't fight in the Tournament of Power.
We can take him from heaven. Other word, yeah.
I'll just ask King Kai for a favor. If you're gonna do that, why not get one of those filler characters like Olibu or Paikon?
Who?
Yeah.
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry, Master.
that.
We are in the wrong canon. I'm the super Goku. Oh yeah, the damn one.
So, oh yeah, the one that forgets everything. Oh.
Oh man.
Alright, Paparazzi next. In your What If Vegeta was the first Super Saiyan? What if the Yardratians restore Goku's tail and he goes Super Saiyan 4? Well, oh, okay. So in that one where I had Majin Goku, okay, that was fun. I'd spent 2 years not knowing what to do with that story, and then as soon as I came up with it, I was like, oh yes. Oh, by the way,
he's like, Haverok, guess what I'm doing? Guess what I'm doing? I'm like, oh.
And Mr. Vim, thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, to be honest, if the Yardratians, I mean, I don't know why they'd want to restore Goku's tail, especially finding out that he went Majin and stuff like that. It would certainly be very interesting, that's for sure. It would be something very intriguing. I would definitely say that. Alright, Sonic 16 Link 20. What if Goten and Trunks ascended to Super Saiyan 2 after hearing about Gohan and Vegeta? I know Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks wasn't that big of a threat to Super Buu, but maybe this might have helped a little. Well, yeah, that's the thing I don't understand. It's like, 2 Super Saiyans equal a 3. 1 + 1 = 3? I don't know. That was very strange to me. Like, you know, I feel like 2 Super Saiyan 2s fusing, I don't know what you get with that. I think you just get an even buffer you just get Super Saiyan 3 again. Or just a really buff Super Saiyan 2.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have the same problem of the time limit, because Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks can only exist for 5 minutes because of the extra power burn. Because Super Saiyan 3, that's power drain as we just discussed earlier. So to have that in a fusion, 30 minutes goes down to 5. I mean, Super Saiyan Blue isn't much better because that goes down from 1 hour to... No, actually, that's even worse. 1 hour to 7 minutes. But either way, the whole thing with Super Saiyan 2 Goten and Trunks, making Gotenks, it wouldn't really make much of a difference except the overall power. They'd be able to hit harder, but they'd still be incumbent. They'd still got to do it quickly, though. Certainly. Chancellor, what if King Vegeta adopted Broly after seeing his incredible power? Oh, okay. If he did, he'd have to come up with some kind of reason to say, "Oh, Broly, you are my long-lost son." Yes.
We did that. It's a thing. We have a video about this.
Exactly. We did make a video. What if King Vegeta could see the future?
Future. We did
Do
that.
that?
Yep. I just love I love the thought of Broly winding up being adopted and by like King Vegeta, and King Vegeta wants to train him up because he's going to be super powerful, and suddenly Vegeta is the kid that he doesn't want. Like that. Yeah. It's like I almost feel like Vegeta would wind up being like renamed to something else, because I could see King Vegeta in his vanity giving what was his biological son's name to Broly, because he's made Broly his new.
Yeah. No, I have a better idea. Like, but father, I was supposed to be a king. Shut up, Turble 2.
Turble Jr.
Turble 2.
Alright, okay.
It's like in Family Guy when they get new Brian.
Oh yeah. Sonic Link again. Hey again, another Boo Art question. What if Gohan was able to keep Piccolo and Gotenks from being absorbed by Super Boo? Okay, if they were still around, Gohan would have eviscerated Super Boo. Because you know, that boo with the two of them in it, that was, you know, Gohan was handing it to him back then. So without those two, all that kind of stuff, that Boo would be toast.
So here's the real thing. Okay, so what if we take that concept and we go a different angle? Like, okay, Gohan prevents Goten, or Gotenks in this case, so Goten and Trunks, and Piccolo from being absorbed, but then he winds up absorbed himself. So the question becomes, who does Goku fuse with Piccolo, because Piccolo's the one who's there when he comes down with the Potara earrings?
Gokuro. Oh.
Piccolo.
Gokuro sounds cool, I think. Cooler.
Oh.
Pikoroku.
Pikoroku.
Oh. Pikoroku, la la la. Pikoroku, la la la. Yeah, instead of Bakuretsu, it's basically Pikoroku.
Yep.
Oh.
God.
Alright. Tension 491. Alright, what if Goten and Bulla were the firstborns? Goten and Bulla, I feel like Goten, he doesn't have the rage boost, that's for sure. So that whole dynamic, that would be gone. That for sure. And with Trunks,
he'd have gotten kidnapped.
Yeah,
because if Goten had been the one, and as far as we know, Goten never has the experience with like rage boosts and stuff like that, right? Goten gets kidnapped by Raditz. He doesn't bust out in order to help Goku and Piccolo in the fight against Raditz, which means Goku and Piccolo get killed. Raditz takes Goten out into space. And suddenly what we have is a space chase with everyone other than Goku and Piccolo having to chase after Raditz. All the while, they don't have DragonBallZ to wish anybody back because Piccolo also died.
Yeah, the stakes would be very high. In terms of Dragon Ball, it would be very exciting, but it'd be a bit one-sided, certainly.
It's kind of similar to a concept that I'm working on, that I'm writing for what if Raditz escaped into space with Gohan.
Okay.
The question is, would Bulla rock a sword or a shotgun?
True.
Boy, I think I think that Bulla would have inherited her mother's love for sidearms, so she'd probably have a pair of pistols or something on her. But I think she would also still have the sword because swords are cool. Everybody knows it. She would just go Dante, like full Dante from Devil May Cry, and she just like dual wield the pistols. And when the pistols don't work, out comes the sword. And when the sword doesn't work, out comes Super Saiyan.
And all her weapons would be named.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they would totally have names. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Alright, next up is also from Kenshin. What if Gohan had a strong fascination for bugs? Well, I imagine he probably already does, because he is very brainy. And he would probably have an understanding and appreciation, almost.
Oh, I will tell you, he would meet more bug nerds, and they would like create a video game company, and they would go and create a series of games when you catch creatures with balls. They would call them capsule monsters, and they would be sponsored by Capsule Corp.
The sass is strong with that one. Master Riku, what if Cell had consumed 18 first? Now, I've had this a couple of times. You'd still get semi-perfect Cell, maybe a slight variation on the appearance. The mood would be different, though. More calculating, less, like, rambunctious as 17.
I see through these questions to their true heart, and I am disgusted.
I know what you're thinking.
We are giving them professional answers. We are giving them professional answers.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I see what you... I see it too. Yeah. No, but you still get semi-perfect Cell, but like a variation on him. Like... Less stubborn and less rambunctious, I would say. Alright, Recon. Hey guys, what if Barbary took over Hercule? You know what? That would have been even more barbaric. Imagine that. Like, Hercule. You know, Hercule instead of Spopovich against Fidel. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. It's like, oh my god, he'd never live it down. Like, oh my god, if he found out, well, Mr. Satan will be gone. No, he'd be destroyed.
See, this is so the question is asking like if Hercule was made into a Majin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so see, here's the thing with that. I honestly don't think, as much as I dislike the character of Hercule, I don't think that there's an evil bone in his body. I think he's just incompetent. I don't know if I could agree with Babidi even being able to take control of him, because I think he's a very genuine person, and yeah, he can be selfish at times, but I don't honestly think that there's like an evil bone in his body. Like
Babidi tries to go. What is this?
Yeah, that would be the best case of
action.
action.
100% pure ignorance. My biggest weakness.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's dumb, but he's a pure kind of dumb.
I may be ignorant, but I'm a good guy and ignorant. I may be an ignoramus, but I'm a good ignoramus.
That would be the Hercule.
That would actually be hilarious if nothing happened.
It does sound like something.
He's got a good heart. But I mean, if you want it...
Thanks for the tattoo, but I didn't plan to make one on my forehead.
Well,
and if you really want to play...
The M stands for Mark.
Oh,
nice call.
Nice.
If you really wanted to play it straight, I do think a matchup between like an evil mind-controlled Hercule and Videl has a very, very strong emotional impact.
Yeah.
It would.
Sorry, you cut out there.
Yeah. I thought it was me. This is the day when the internet misbehaves.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, let's continue for now. Alright, Chris G. What if Goku arrived in time for the Saiyan saga? Well, if if Goku did arrive in time, then probably everybody would live. Yamcha would still be alive, Tenshinhan would be, Piccolo would still be there. There'd be no need to go to Namek, really, because everyone would still be alive.
Oh, I hear Sophie's sounds. We can hear you. Hello?
Testing?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you back.
Okay, sorry. It's got to be an internet thing.
Nah,
It's been
it's okay.
on the fritz since I got back.
Nah, no worries, no problem there. But yeah, we're just about to move on to Hannah Rowan's now question. If you could implement Golden Lazar and Super Saiyan 4 into Super, how would you do it, and who would gain the forms? Well, Hannah, I think what they have done in a way is what they've done with Broly. Broly, the Wrathful form, is pretty much the variation of Super Saiyan 4 that we're going to get in that regard. Just in that terms, that raw power of tapping into the Ozaru form without going Ozaru.
Yeah, that's probably going to be true. I know that a lot of people really hope for Super Saiyan 4 to make an appearance, myself included, because I mean there are still plenty of Saiyans that aren't going to learn God Ki and probably will never get Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue or any variation therein. And of course, the writing is clearly reserving Ultra Instinct for Goku, despite the fact that it's so freaking dumb. But I would love to personally see a variation beyond just what we got with the Wrathful form in DB Super Broly, especially for those Saiyans who aren't going to get that. Once you actually permit Goten and Trunks to age like they should be, and maybe you could have the whole situation where something occurs that makes either one or both of them grow their Saiyan tails, and then they could even do it, and then we could actually get something really cool like a Super Saiyan 4 Gotenks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, as for Wrathful form, I wouldn't mind if Broly taught it to Kale, but not, as a potential pairing, but like, they would be gym buddies.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine that. That would be really cool.
Yeah, Kale having Wrathful form.
There needs to be gym equipment that can deal with 10-foot buff Saiyans.
Yeah.
Saiyans who somehow expand to 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
They need to be catered for. They're people too. All right, Jake the Burge. What if there was no heart virus in Trunks' timeline? Well, okay. So if Goku was still alive, they would still probably struggle against the androids, but they would at least have a chance to survive. Because I think Goku would still be training, and everyone would still have a good yardstick. So probably none of them would... some of them would still pass, obviously, including our boy Clearin'. But, you'd still... Goku and Vegeta together, they might just be able to pull it off. But it would take a long time. It would take a lot of struggling. But I think they could just about do it.
Yeah, I think it's doable. The question is, what if 19 and 20 would show up without the hurt virus? Like the big thing, in this that always I couldn't find any answer for that, is that why 19 and 20 appeared in our timeline and not in future Trunks timeline.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I think it's supposed to be implied. I think it's supposed to be implied, like, just based on a butterfly effect situation, because in Trunks' timeline, the battle against Frieza and King Cold lasted much longer, because there's 3 hours of time there where Goku doesn't show up, right? So, now, admittedly, he says, like, oh, things got bad, I would have just instant transmissioned or whatever, but, we aren't entirely certain the honesty of that. Goku does tend to have a tendency to play things real close, but there's hours of time there that we don't see that could have resulted in any number of just different subtle changes to the timeline when Trunks came in and just owned both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hannah Owen, what if Boxer and Kid Goku met? Boxer, this is from our capsule called Goku scenario. But basically, Haverok, what would you say?
I would say that I think they would get along pretty well, but like Boxa would feel that he found his slightly less intelligent brother, but one who is much stronger and better at fighting than him. On the other hand, like they would get along, but it would come like I think they would find very weird solace that there is some like there's another person like them with the tail and stuff. I think that would be much more curious, and that would be a much happier upbringing than Raditz showing up.
Oh, true.
Uh,
That is until so-and-so shows up. Yeah, I need to make that potentially a sound. That is until insert name here shows up. Yeah. Alright, okay. Next up is Dark Cloud Alpha. What if Namek stayed a technological society? Oh, good question. But basically, if Namek remained a society that could make those kind of ships that could travel the galaxy in just way much less time, they could be a really formidable force, but they would certainly catch the attention of the Freezer Force in terms of their technology. So I imagine they would probably be even more advanced than they already are. But yeah, that would have actually been their downfall, and Freezer would have found them much sooner, found the dragon, and I'm going to play the sound.
Even cold, not even Freezer, cold.
King Cold, exactly. Yeah, the Cold Force. Yeah, you're quite right. But yeah, we'll have to play the sound for them. It was probably for the best in terms of their preservation for them not to be known. And I think, honestly, in that world where Freezer and King Cold exist, what they were doing, just having, farms and stuff, was actually beneficial for what they do. So yeah, that's the thing. Vulcan. What if Goku had a daughter after Gohan? We've had this a fair few times, but basically, if he did, I imagine there'd probably be a bit more confrontation about with Chi-Chi, saying like, a daughter of mine needs to act like a, traditional woman and stuff like that. And Goku is like, what? Let's just let her decide. She wants to train and stuff like that. I can imagine that, there'd be that situation. They plonk the baby down, and then they can, come on, come to Papa, come to Papa.
God.
And they have to choose. And Goku would just like say, she chose me. No, she chose me. No take backsies.
No take backsies. Oh my god. A baby is not a puppy.
Try telling that to Goku.
Oh my god.
This is Goku we're talking about.
Yes. This one gets to train.
The baby has spoken. But she can't talk, Goku. She's spoken in her own way. There you go.
Okay, off the train. Bye. Takes the baby, flies out of the house. Is gone for 5 years.
To be quite honest, Pan can fly before she can walk or talk. Like, I'm not sure if Goku isn't taking her for trainings when nobody's looking. Okay, Pan. Grandpa is going to get you to the time chamber.
Unless she's the legendary Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Which is what I did do for a video, and that is one of my favorite videos, I will say.
Yep.
It was a good one.
All right, Kenshin. What if Haverok voiced Piccolo and Sophie voiced Chi-Chi?
Oh god, Chi-Chi is just too shrill for me. I could not. I'm trying to take vocal lessons in order to reach those higher tones and pitches and stuff like that. But Chi-Chi is just way too shrill Tiger Mom for me. I'm more apt to do Piccolo.
Guys, as you probably know, my voice range isn't amazing, and I usually speak in. I don't speak in my own language to you, but on Saiyakon I did my own, my own impression of Piccolo when we were talking about potential partner for Piccolo and Piccolo dating. So I had that one thing. Hey babe, do you want to see my weighted clothing?
Oh my god.
There you have it.
I know some pretty nice wastelands around here.
Do you like water? My favorite is spring water.
Hey, babe.
What water do you like the best?
Like, You got MySpace?
Oh, you don't. That's good because
Oh,
I switched to
yeah.
Facebook a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you on like, yeah, wait, yeah, okay, never mind. I'm just gonna go over there.
How do humans do this?
So I don't get it. How do I swipe in real life? I mean, like, seriously. It doesn't mean like just swipe flying. I mean,
Yeah, Mr. Piccolo, don't worry about it.
I'm laughing at the possibility of of Nail and Kami in his head laughing at his inability to date.
I've been stuck up on that lookout for 300 years, and even I know more about dating advice than you do. It's like, oh my god, you absolutely suck, Piccolo. Oh ha ha!
I just love that feeling. It's like,
Kami's like, oh my goodness, that was utterly woeful. It's like, what would you know? You've been up in the lookout for 3 centuries. Yeah, but yes, but I've been observing, so at least I know what goes on, even though I wasn't able to practice it. It's like, yep, old man's got a good point there, buddy.
it's like, alright.
Now I want a spin-off series only of this, just Piccolo's dating antics while Nail and Kami just pick his style apart.
Alright, so... Oh, yeah, sorry, we're gonna, like, take a moment for the clap for our carers thing. So, everybody, let's give a round of applause for everyone at this time. Applauding everyone who's doing their best at this current crisis. And apparently, I heard clapping. Philly's clapping out there. But also, I heard fireworks. So, I think fireworks, that counts as clapping? But there we go. So, we've done our bit. Thank you, everyone, to the NHS and everyone around the world who is looking after people at this difficult time. So, thank you very much, everybody, for that. We are all thinking of you, and we really appreciate what you're doing. Mateo's Cool Place. What if you were in Dragon Ball? Now, we've had this a fair few times as well. But basically, I would probably just end up wanting to train with Goku in some way. I'd just find some convenient way to just give him food. And, yeah, that's what I'd do. What would you two do?
If I was in Dragon Ball, hoo boy. I mean, I know what I would want to do, but what would I actually do? I would probably be the same kind of person I am right now. I mean, I would love if it was like, if I was in Dragon Ball and I was friends with the characters, like if I was friends with Bulma or any of the Z fighters or something like that. The possibility of training and getting stronger and accessing all those like secrets of martial arts and stuff like that really appeals to me. I don't know. I mean, if it's just me and I'm just a human, you know, I know like from the meta that I'll never live up to any kind of strength beyond like what's been showcased by the Saiyans, because they get everything and the humans get shafted. But
Yeah.
I think I would love to just be able to I think I would just love to be able to hang out with people like Bulma and Gohan and Videl especially, and Krillin and 18, and I just you know be a sociable friend, you know.
I figured out what I want to do. I would use gather the Dragon Balls and use them to become Shin's assistant and help him clean up this mess.
Be the voice inside his head.
No, just be assistant. Mr. Shin, we need to plant some life over here, and if you just could call Lord Beerus, we can clean up this planet. You know, I would rock this this mortal level chart.
Yeah, no, that's that.
We would be fourth from the end.
Yes, so we'd be slightly less likely to lose. But yeah. Darren,
I would definitely want to make a wish on the Dragon Balls. I have a couple of thoughts about that, but I'll keep that to myself.
No, I mean that's fair enough. I think we'd all want to use the Dragon Balls if we could. Yeah, Darren Hardy's
Yeah,
next
I have a
saying-
very personal wish for that.
Of course. The Darren Hardy's next saying, bad news, I'm high risk, and you know what that means. Well, sorry to hear that,
Oh,
miss this
no.
I won't miss this for the foreseeable future. And to all my fellow fans of this channel, don't be a douche canoe. Wash your hands and only go out if you need to. Well, there you go. So, Darren, we are thinking of you, buddy. Thank you very much for still supporting in your own way.
Seriously.
And Philly and I do go out, but we do go out for our daily example of exercise as instructed by official guidelines. But we also make sure to keep social distancing at the same time. So we do that. So
Good.
We follow all the safety precautions, but we also do get a little bit of exercise. So we are allowed to do that. But thank you very much, Darren, all the same. And we all wish you the best. Just Tima, what if Kakarot and Vegeta swapped roles? Kakarot would be the principal Saiyans, and Vegeta would have been sent to Earth. Well, you basically would have got what you saw in DragonBallZ in that regard. DragonBallZ is pretty much what you get. I would say.
Pretty much.
It would be indeed.
A lot of the what if Vegeta went to Earth questions can be answered with "Go read Dragon Ball Sai." It's pretty good.
It is pretty good, yes. Recon, what if Android 13 and Larry the Cable Guy met? Well, you'd have a much better example of Android 13 voicing Mater.
It's like, hey there, my name is Mater. Look at my trucker cap. It's like, don't you try and impress me with your $30 hubcaps. It's like, with the $30 hubcaps.
Now that android there is funny. I don't care who you are.
It's like, well, that's goddamn truth, and your name's Son Goku. I've been constructed by my Dr. Zero to kill you. I'm Larry. I mean, Android the Cable Guy, 13.
Android the Cable Guy. What about Larry the Android Guy?
No, Larry 13. Oh my God, there was 12 of them before. It's a good thing I'm not there. Like, oh my God, there were more of them.
Try to imagine like an interconnected universe of Dragon Ball and cars, like Dragon Ball characters as cars.
Oh my God, Goku would drive himself.
Yes, he would drive Vegeta mad.
Oh no.
Right, Brian's next. What if Bardock was successful saving Planet Vegeta? Okay, so we've had this a couple of times, but it wouldn't end well. And Haverok, would you want to do the honors? Because I think I know what you're going to say.
Can you repeat the question? You broke up for a moment.
What if Bardock was successful saving Planet Vegeta?
If Bardock was successful saving Planet Vegeta, like they would need to quickly, spread, because that would be at this point a stroke of luck, and King Cold would be like, nope, and would send all of his troops to show, to basically show that he's not going to have that, because the thing is that if one planet could break up, then more planets could break up from his point of view. So he would punish this immediately.
Oh, absolutely. He wouldn't care.
And he would go Order 66 on Saiyans.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. All right, Jelly Belly Crunch. What if Gohan was more up to fighting? Well, you would pretty much will get what you would get at the end of the Cell games. Like, that Gohan was willing and ready to become the defender of Earth, but it's just over time, since there was so much peace. And Vegeta wasn't really up to, training with him. He kind of got soft. But if he was up to more fighting and stuff like that, I can imagine him probably being really strong in that regard. I can imagine that. I can totally believe that. I would say that. Manifesto. I'd like to make a fan art of the Gohan from What If Goku Married Bulma scenario. Have you decided on a design for him in his teen years? Well, in terms of his teen years, I imagine he kind of looks like Gohan from, original Gohan, only with, lavender hair. Maybe, a more relaxed clothing, he's not wearing traditional garb, the type of Chinese-y type of style that Chi-Chi would wear, or that he would emulate. So probably more kind of Western-style clothing, more, relaxed.
Yeah, casual clothes that are more in line with what Trunks wears.
Yeah. No,
like t-shirt and shorts, that sort of thing.
Just like with lavender hair, blue eyes, all that kind of stuff. Like a mixture between Trunks and Gohan in that regard. Andrus the Warrior High Alpha. What if Goten and Trunks use Patara? New fusion? Yeah, probably. You probably get with Trunten or something like that. You get Trunten as like, you know, kind of like more kind of like Trunks' more of Goten's personality, actually, I would say. Like, because Gotenks is quite brash and confident. I think Trunten would be a bit more reserved. A bit more reserved, but, you know, still keen to, like, show stylish, but also a bit more respectful towards their opponent. Not a jerk. You know, tolerable. That's the word. Tolerable.
A gentleman Saiyan.
Maybe not quite that much, but he'd be tolerable. You tolerate Trunten.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So, Sork. April Fool's what if? What if Team 3-Star was a thing? Well, they'd be certainly the most marketable gang of fighters out there. And, you know, you'd get, like, Krillin would say, "Okay, gang, Team 3-Star! Yeah!
I'm going to kill you."
No, basically, you'd have the typical shonen thing, like, Krillin would say, "Okay, guys, let's do this!" And Vegeta would be the hero, say, "I can't believe I'm taking orders from this guy." "Come on, Vegeta, it's gonna be great. He knows what he's doing." "You said it there, kiddo. Come on, Vegeta, let's get to it."
And the opening, and the sad opening starts to play, you know.
And then the ending theme would just be like Krillin stoically looking out to the sea.
Yes,
Fly
yes.
me to the That's what most shonen have, that very somber, very introspective ending theme.
I believe it. I know. I remember from that time back when I used to stay up late and watch Toonami The Midnight Run and Adult Swim and all the VHSs that my older brother had.
I really miss you, although not because you are the only female we have on the show.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's only one girl, and it's like, wow, you're here because you're a girl. Now normally I would resent that, but yeah, you're right, teehee. All that kind of stuff.
Oh my
and then
God.
maybe the biggest plot twist in the world. Oh my God, you guys! We found a second girl!
Oh my goodness! Oh, I cannot believe it! There's a second girl. That was impossible. And I'm going to be the love interest of said girl.
No.
This is going to cause a massive dichotomy in terms of our dynamic. Is Team 3-Star about to become Team 4-Star?
Down.
At which point they receive a notice in the mail saying that they can't call themselves Team 4-Star, and it's signed by Scott Frericks.
Yeah, excuse me, buddy. No. It's like, no, you better not, or we'll sue you. It's like, just kidding. It's your friendly neighborhood cat, Kaiser Neko.
Oh God.
You hang around,
okay, let's.
That's not inaccurate.
You hang around with them for 13 years, you start to get the little mannerisms.
Yeah.
I think we're getting off track, guys.
All right, okay. But yeah. Okay. Actually, we've had so many inputs today, so I think we're gonna say that right now we're gonna actually close the super chat. So super chat submissions are now closed. Thank you so much for your submissions, everybody. We got through them really quickly. Depending if we have time, we will accept some, but just so you know, do try and hold on them if you can. So, yeah. So if you do...
Oh, somebody wanted... Mr. Manifesto wanted to get one more in there.
To be fair, so that's all right. But basically, we will, if we have time, we will try and get through them, but just so you know. All right. Dark Cloud Alpha. What if Dr. Giro found Piccolo Jr. as an egg? It wouldn't be good for Piccolo, that's for sure. But I feel like... you'd have like a Namekian. He'd be really astounded by the huge amount of aging that he could do.
Regeneration.
Androids who could regenerative androids. Infinite engine androids who could regenerate. Oof.
He wouldn't need Cell. At this point.
No, why would he need Cell? He has the T-1000.
I mean, from the like he had Piccolo's DNA, so he didn't do this. But not even he didn't need Cell. He would have Cell a proto Cell much earlier in the story.
Protozoa.
If he had this technology, why not use it on himself? That's one of the big things that always intrigued me, is that, you know, he was able to construct an android body for himself, have his supercomputer basically work as an autodoc to surgically take his brain out and put it into this android body. Why couldn't he put himself into a stronger model of android body? And for that matter, why didn't he make his body look younger? I mean, come on, Doctor. Do you really want to be an old man for the rest of your life?
Probably a sense
But
of ego, almost.
yeah, so if he had this technology like regenerative infinite energy android systems and stuff like that, I feel like he would want to reserve. He might make a prototype, but I do think he'd want to reserve like an empty body casing that he'd work on from time and again for himself. And in the meantime, he'd use the Android 20 body.
You know, seeing how you know he designed the androids to look, he had some weird obsessions with clowns, cowboys, and other stuff like this. I feel that this exactly, to me, this shows what's the most important thing for Jiro. He didn't care for looks. To himself, he was the brain. That was the only part of his body that mattered. So I think in a way this is a perfect characterization of him.
Oh, hey, here's a concept. Okay. So he creates a prototype. Okay, so this will be like this protocell thing. It's this regenerating infinite energy android thing, right? But he also has another body that he's working on the sly to put his brain case into once it's ready. And in the meantime, he's in the Android 20 body, but he gets killed, right? So there's this empty body in Jiro's lab. Maybe because it's designed to regenerate, it even survives the lab's destruction. So what ends up happening is sometime down the line, Yamcha gets Yamcha'd again, and they put Yamcha's brain into the super android body.
But it has Jiro's face. It still has Jiro's old man face.
And his
hey guys, it's me, Yamcha.
He's like, hello everybody, it's me, Yamcha. Cat loves food, yeah.
Oh my god.
Alright, moving on. Codus Primus. What if we saw the destruction of planet Vegeta and admired Bardock, saving him and training him to be the new god of destruction in the land of Kai? Okay, so, say for example, because, hey, if Toa and Mira could do it, why not Whis? It's like, we could be observing, because, you know, saying, oh, well, I'm just going to make sure that Frieza actually knows what he's doing. Oh, my.
I can give you a simple, honest, but a very cruel answer.
Go on.
Because Bardock wasn't that special and that interesting for someone as Whis. This universe had seen hundreds of Bardocks. And there was this guy Yamoshi who was much more spectacular and basically did the same thing. And like Bardock is just a promile of his power. So why would he bother, really?
Well, okay, just for the sake of argument, though. Like, you know, somebody who
I know.
Somebody who stands up to Frieza. That's interesting.
See, I find so little about Bardock interesting. I don't understand his popularity at all. So these questions kind of go above my head when we get them, because I don't understand why everybody wants to give him all this power or stuff. I don't even understand why Xenoverse made him Timebreaker Bardock, or why it gave him Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3 transformations and stuff like that, right?
Sophie, because he's Goku with a scar.
And well, that's the thing, is he's Saiyan Goku, and everybody wanted Saiyan Goku, right? Because Goku is adult otherwise, and they want somebody who's more of like that gritty, badass type character. But I just don't get it. Like, honestly, I don't understand Bardock's popularity. If there's somebody that I want to see more of, if there's people that I want to see more of, I would have said, like, anybody from the old Bardock specials, like his crew, I liked them. They had personality. Bardock was bland. I like Gine. I like a bunch of the other Saiyans we see. So, like, if we were going to bring back anybody, I would want to bring back Gine. It's one of the reasons why I really like the What If Gine Went to Earth with Goku What If over on MasakoX's channel. Go check it out.
Yeah, but to make it justice, like we did with the Hercule one, I think, to be quite honest, that would take a lot of time. And one thing that's kind of contradictory is that why would he train somebody to be God of Destruction if that somebody was defending the planet from destruction? That's the opposite of thing you want the guy to do. And he can have he can have a certain resentment against it after almost witnessing something like that himself. So for me, that's a very, very, very outlandish scenario.
No, okay, that's fair. Ice King. I've just started watching Avatar for the first time, so my question is, what if bending was a principle in Dragon Ball, and what type of benders do you think the main characters would be? Okay, we've had this question a couple of times, actually. Well, I would feel like, Nappa would be an earthbender, that's for sure. Vegeta, Fire Nation, probably. Goku would probably be the airbender because he's meant to be the prodigious one. And he's teaching Gohan how to do it. That kind of stuff. So I think that pretty much would be the case.
Piccolo waterbender.
Piccolo waterbender, yeah. Tien probably would be an earthbender as well, but like more elegant than Nappa. Nappa would just be blow up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Mad Mods.
Yeah. And then and Tien would be more kind of like, about nature and stuff like that, being a bit more elegant in that regard. So I think it could go in that sense.
Okay.
Manifesto. Which Super Saiyan form from Z, Super, or GT is more earned out of them? I personally have 3 in God and Blue because they make sense and work for the story and really fit. My one is actually Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan 2 is my favorite. It's the best of everything. It's the best of everything. It looks the most intimidating. So yeah, my vote goes to 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Yeah, I agree. 1 or 2.
Sophie, your thoughts?
Give me just a second. Rad3mon wants to know if we've read his super chat yet.
Rad3mon, odds are we haven't got to it yet.
Okay. Yeah. And then what was the question again?
Which Super Saiyan transformation feels the most earned to you? Like Mass said 2, I said 1 or 2.
I would probably say that when it comes to being the most earned, I would probably say Super Saiyan 2. I feel that Gohan really, like, everything about Super Saiyan really does get brought together by his Super Saiyan 2 transformation. There's this implication that he has this power sleeping within him throughout the entirety of, like, that Cell Games arc leading up to that final battle. I mean, Super Saiyan is a historical transformation. Like it's super big, Goku's transformation on Namek. But it does kind of come out of nowhere. Even though there is still kind of an explanation for it with the rage that Goku feels over watching Krillin die, and stuff like that. There are also kind of like these plot issues that derive from that, like like the age-old question of why didn't Goku go Super Saiyan back in Dragon Ball then, because obviously that wasn't a thing. But I think Super Saiyan 2 had the most complete arc from beginning to end, and it was a huge deal for the character of Gohan. It marked this huge step forward for the series as a whole. And I think that's also why the Buu arc winds up being pretty disappointing, is because all of that wound up not mattering quite as much. But in the moment, it was the best Super Saiyan, like most earned Super Saiyan transformation.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. Nick Wolf's next. What if Good Boy 21 went Papa Wolf and absorbed Zamasu 1718 GT Goku style? How'd that affect his physiology? You will never harm my children, Zamos. Ever! Well, the thing is, though, I feel like, in terms of his physiology, it wouldn't really change. I mean, the whole thing with Deborah, that was slightly different because that was on more of like, you know, Deborah got set into Good Boy 21's mind and stuff like that. That was a much more deep set control. Whereas with Zamasu,
Yeah, the demonic possession thing, which by the way, as much as people think it's fanficky, I've checked it out. Demons in Dragon Ball World can do that.
Yeah, exactly. So
they can do that. So
I feel like,
and
yeah,
and I would say, if he went to the first thing, we don't know if he still can absorb in perfect form, if his tail still can absorb, if he's physically capable of doing that. That's one thing. The other, but let's assume he can. Let's assume that his tail can still do that. So I think that Zamasu at this point is powerful enough to take over his mind as well. Sadly.
Yeah, alas. Master
he would become Infinite Zamas inside 21.
And then they would have to like leave him there. They would have to leave him there and then destroy the universe. Oof.
Yeah.
Who's gonna tell the kids? Oh, that would be really bad. That'd be really sad.
Yeah.
Oof.
Master Riku, what if Goku was a donor? If Goku was a donor, he'd be a very generous person. You know, interesting who would get Saiyan organs. Yeah, when he passed. But very, very noble. Zach Cox 94. Hello all, first time here, and I got a big one. Ah, welcome Zach. What if Guinea and Bardock went to Earth, or if more Saiyan children did? Or even Queen Cassava as well? Your thoughts? Well, we have had this one before with the Guinea and Bardock thing, but basically, in short, we'll keep this short. Guinea would probably stick around on Earth with Kakarot. Bardock would probably just be like, hey, you guys okay here? Good, I'm gonna take off. He'd go and explore the galaxy and stuff like that. He wouldn't be stuck in one place for too long. But
yeah, I don't think that he's much of a homebody.
Yeah, and if other Saiyan children did, the ones who actually, actually were following the directive, they probably would have just acted out their orders. And with Queen Cassava, even more so, probably. Unless they were doing it trying to escape Frieza. It really depends on the motive, I would say. Sonic Link. I remember seeing some official-looking art of GT, Goten, and Marin as a dating couple, and was wondering if this might be an option for the What If Raditz parallel timeline Goten. I've never really seen that. I thought, like, Goten's the one dating, I forget her name. But, yeah, that, like, brunette. Like, he's been chatting up. That one. I forget her name.
Oh, in GT?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, but
I don't remember either.
Yeah, I know she has a name. She does have a name, but I never thought it was like, it wasn't Marin, that's for sure. I don't think that would realistically be possible, because I think, honestly, the kids would probably want to, like, date outside of Valas, or Valais, or something like that. Thanks, Nick. Thank you, Nick. I think they would want to date outside of their friendship circle, you know?
Yeah.
At least the half Saiyans would, certainly.
I mean, like it's something that wouldn't be totally ruled out, but it like maybe they would try to date, but I don't know if they would end up together. Maybe like that, you know?
Oh, Tempest Palace. That's it. Because for non-funny people. Oh, okay. Thanks, guys. Very much appreciated. You guys are very knowledgeable. All right, the Dapper Cat. What if Bulma met Arale instead of Goku? Oh, she'd be driven mad. She'd be just driven mad. The only thing keeping her around is because Arale gets results. That'd be the only reason. Yeah, she gets results and all that kind of stuff, but, she would just drive her up the wall.
Gag manga characters.
Yeah. Hey, if Vegeta can't cope, with Arale, I don't think Bulma would do much better. So yeah, they'd get the Dragon Balls and she would never see her again. In my
Like-
honest opinion.
I just imagined like a parody of a scene from Terminator when Bulma tries to shoot Arale.
Oh. Yeah, it's just like it'd be even less effective than with Goku. Or she'd just send the bullets back.
Yeah.
Auto Johnny. What if Goku went ultimate? How strong would he be? Oh, ultimate Goku. That'd be really cool to see. Ultimate Goku, he'd probably be really strong. Like, he'd be stronger than Ultimate Gohan, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so honestly, I think that if he got the ultimate technique and he went up against Boo, you wouldn't need Vegito. And honestly, because you get the Super Saiyan hair, so you get like the false Super Saiyan you get in the filler arc. In that sense. So you get that.
Yeah.
So you'd almost get Vegito-like hair, but without the bangs and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it'll be done. And then you'd never see Super Saiyan
Goku would
again.
absolutely hate this, though.
Oh no, he would only do it for a bit, and he would then he would rule which on the Dragon Balls to forget he learned it and go back to the other way of doing it. Or he would use it once and he would never use that power again. So,
I don't think you can unuse it.
well,
That's not as simple.
Gohan clearly learned how to, or didn't.
And,
I
well,
mean-
the problem with Gohan is that Gohan stopped training. Goku would never stop training. You'd have to kill him, and even then, he still trains after death.
True.
So but I don't think that Goku would agree to have his ultimate potential unlocked in such a manner. He's always been the kind of person who kind of seeks his own power and wants to accomplish it in his own way.
Yes.
You know.
Mhm.
So. I think he's much more content to keep striving. It gives him something. It gives him a purpose, you know.
No, absolutely, totally. All right, okay. Manifesto. What if Broly from Dragon Ball Super attains Super Saiyans 2 and 3? I personally think he would bypass the limitations of the form because he would have the potential and be a breeze. In terms of ki generation, yeah, he'd probably have no issue with that. But in terms of control, they would have to go very slowly. They'd have to make absolutely sure that he learnt to control Super Saiyan Broly, like full power Super Saiyan, before they went any further. So those are the things that they would have to take very, very cautious baby steps with to make sure that he would know that. But in terms of key generations and limitations, yeah, he probably would get over them. But, you know, you'd have to be very careful. Joseph Kent. Hey, hi, hello, big fan. So in the vein of Guinea and female Goku what-ifs, what if Vegeta or Gohan were women? Or what if Android 21 from Fighters was canon? Oh. Sophie, do you want to do the honors?
Oh gosh. Okay, so full question again.
So in the vein of Guinea and female Goku what-ifs, what if Vegeta or Gohan were women? Or what if Android 21 from Fighters was canon?
Okay, well, Vegeta being a woman, we've addressed this often. It wouldn't really result in much of a change at all. I know that a lot of people. I know that a lot of people think, oh well, if Vegeta's a woman, it'll make things easier for like Goku and Vegeta to hook up, but that's really not true. Goku's loyal to his wife. He's already married by the time he meets Vegeta. And what's more is Vegeta honestly doesn't actually care about reviving the Saiyan race. I see this a lot where people are like, well, what about reviving the Saiyan race? You can't revive the Saiyan race with only 4 or 5 surviving Saiyans. It's not mathematically, genetically possible. And Vegeta knows this. It's probably why he became so pessimistic while under the thumb of Frieza, is because he knew the Saiyans were dead. And so it's probably part of the reason why he never took the title of king and just remained the prince. So female Vegeta wouldn't change much, hardly at all. The only real difference is you wouldn't wind up with Trunks, because Vegeta, even if female Vegeta did hook up with Bulma, there's no child there to have. As for female Gohan, probably a lot of the same. Gohan's temperament isn't exactly something that's male specific, and I could very much see a female Gohan still acting more or less the exact same way. I think Chi-Chi would be even more overprotective. Parents tend to be more overprotective of children that have their same gender, at least, historically speaking. But at the same time, I also think that that Gohan, his rage would probably become more of a concern, especially for someone like Chi-Chi, who's trying to teach her daughter, in this instance, to be a proper lady and all this other kind of stuff. Seeing the rage issues that Gohan has might actually lead Chi-Chi to be like, hey, you gotta help me, Goku. We gotta find a way to kind of get all this stuff out of our kid, and so she might even let female Gohan train earlier for that reason, to give some way of venting all that frustration and rage. But I mean, if people are looking for big narrative changes based upon gender, it's really not something that would happen, not with those characters at least, because their character type really doesn't change all that much based on their gender. I mean, Gohan's really he's really mellow and meek for the most part. He has a personality that fits, guy or girl or anything else you want to put on the gender spectrum there. And I think that as far as Android 21 goes, to get to the last portion of the what if, I think everybody knows my opinions on Android 21 by now. If she was going to be in the canon in some way, I think we would need to give her a better narrative than she got from Fighter Z. Maybe even, if you absolutely had to keep the design, which I know that some people gush over because, she's hot or whatever. If you absolutely have to keep the design, at least give her a better narrative and give her voice actress a better character to play. It's essentially because she deserves better than the Android 21 we got. Maybe actually address some of the stuff with the fact that 16 was based off of Dr. Jiro's son and stuff like that. The implications that were there that maybe 16 was 21's son. And yeah, Vegeta could theoretically hook up with Tien if it hadn't been shown that Tien really it's complicated. He himself has said it's complicated in the Xenoverse games. But I'd say if Vegeta was going to hook up with anybody, a female Vegeta, if a female Vegeta was going to hook up with anybody that wasn't Bulma, it would be Tien. And that's mostly just because Tien is the most warrior-like of all of the Z fighters. Like, he is the most devout, warrior personality.
Okay.
And that's my opinion.
Fair enough. From Bison's next.
Sorry about that.
No, that's alright. Suppose Frieza never eradicated the Saiyans and Bardock still raided planets and ignored Goku. What if Bardock and his squad, in place of Vegeta and Nappa, invaded Earth and fought the Z-Warriors? It'd be a very interesting dynamic if he found, Goku was there and he was about to fight him. But in terms of, Bardock's power of, 10,000, roughly, it would be a much closer challenge. And I think, ultimately, Goku would spare him. And Bardock would be like, okay, you've earned my respect, kudos to you, I'll leave this planet alone, but, good to know you're still around. They wouldn't bond or anything like that, but you're just like, oh, okay, it's good to know my son's strong and still alive. Alright, see you later. That kind of stuff. The squad would probably be really impressed, that's for sure. But I don't think they would be, really kind of related in terms of destruction, that kind of stuff. Yeah, once they found out that Goku or Kakarot was still around, I think they changed their tune quite quickly. Master Riku, what if there was a grey area of Emperor Pilaf's wish when he wished to make them young again? Well, there kind of was. They are basically, he didn't think about the wish. It was like, make us young again. And it's just like, they didn't give a specific age and they were literally turned into toddlers. They were literally turned into toddlers and they had to age back up again to become kids. That's literally it. They became 3-year-olds.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a monkey's paw effect, so that's exactly what there was there. Brumal H, what if someone wished back the Saiyans? Would Vegeta be conflicted trying to lead his people? Would Goku be conflicted? Could they rival Frieza's empire?
No, no, and no, I think.
No, and no. Because if they wish back the Saiyans, they'd have to wish back the planet as well. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of asphyxiated Saiyans in space. Vegeta, he's kind of over Planet Vegeta right now. So, he's over it. He wouldn't really care. Goku, no, because he's only just now starting to come to terms with the Saiyan roots.
I mean, he would visit and
He'd be
check them
curious,
out.
but he's a lot more receptive to it now than he used to be. And as the Freezer Empire, no. Absolutely not. There's, like, Freezer's Empire, even when it's, like, smaller, it's still pretty mighty. Recon.
And the thing is that Frieza wouldn't, like... I wonder if Frieza would go to do some monkey shooting, but then again, I think he wouldn't risk it, being afraid that he may piss off Vegeta at this point.
Yeah, true. Alright, Recon. What if Sparking Joy and Divine Mind appeared in Moro? I feel like with Sparking Joy against Moro, that could actually be really interesting. Yeah. Because the whole point of that is that it'd be leaving Moro completely unaware of being able to he'd have to really focus hard to be able to keep up with Sparking Joy. But in a way, I think he would also be able to suss out how its weaknesses and almost kind of just like draw it out to the point, where Goku reaches a point of delusion.
Yeah, the point of those two powers is that they work the best as a surprise mechanic. So it depends how fast and how effective they could use it against Moro.
Yeah, exactly. So it all depends.
You cannot, like, Moro is that kind of the opponent which I kind of like, which is kind of, I would say, pretty unique. Well, Boo also had that, but like it was overused. That you cannot toy with him. This isn't the guy that you want to, okay, I'm going to show off my power, go slowly on him. Nope. Because the more time you give to him, the stronger he gets.
Yeah, you just need to get things done quickly. Absolutely. Chris G, what if Bulma hadn't removed Android 16's bomb? Well, if Android 16 was allowed to self-destruct, we wouldn't have had Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, for a start. And there would have been an earth-shattering kaboom. I think that would have been enough to actually stop Cell.
Yeah, I think the radiation could kill his nucleus.
Yeah, no, that would have been enough to destroy. I mean, basically, it would leave a massive crater in the planet. But I think what they would do is that they'd use the DragonBallZ to repair the damage to the planet.
Yeah, that's the one thing that they are trying to softly retcon into the universe, which I'm kind of okay with. That even if our characters are super strong, super powerful, their bodies, if they are unfocused about,
if they
like holding their bodies are still normal humanoid bodies. So if they are not focusing on defending, they still can be shot.
They wouldn't die per se, but they could still get hurt.
I mean, they could. I think they could get killed if like those snipers aiming at Frieza. I think that they could hurt him pretty hard, or maybe even kill him if they hit his vital organ or anything. If they hit him, but he saw them before.
So if they hit their glue bark.
Yeah, he's glue. Exactly. And I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of okay with that a guy with a gun could like people hated that thing with Sorbet shooting Goku in Resurrection F. But honestly, I think it's one of the very few good things in the movie. I kind of liked it that you can shoot Goku.
Have a bit of a twist, I will say. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Alright, Sork, what if the cyborg appear in another day of What If Mirai Trunks? How will Z-Team find them without detecting? So basically, if the cyborgs appeared later on, like if they were able to get slightly stronger, well, basically they'd be training and training and training. Or alternatively, the androids don't show up, they all think Trunks lied, they don't take him seriously anymore, and they're caught unawares. That kind of stuff. So it really depends about that. But in terms of Z-Team, they may not be able to sense them, but the androids can't sense them either. because they can't sense energy. The only chance they can is that if they had Android 16, who has an inbuilt radar. He has a radar, but if it was just 17 and 18, they'd be just as stuck as well. They'd be just they'd just be wondering if they just bumped into each other, as it were.
That would be a very senseless relationship between them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'd have to try and like coordinate. Okay, when are we actually going to fight each other? Let's meet here, and then afterwards we can go to West City for a drink afterwards. Okay, bro, sounds kind of cool. It's like, yeah, it's like, I would like to go to Spacies. I heard it's good in space. Yeah, Red Rogue Art. What if Bulma turned Yamcha into an android after his injury during the Android Cell Saga? Would definitely improve his involvement during the future arcs. Yes, and Yamcha probably would be a bit more receptive to the idea. Any chance to become relevant again, I think he would take. So, you get Android Yamcha. Or the Yamcha Android.
Yamcha Android.
The Yamchatron.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. No, he would definitely take it. So, I would say, he probably wouldn't be up there with the gang, but he would certainly be able to have that infinite engine. I'm pretty sure Bulma could couple something together like that. If Jiro could do that in a cave with a box of scraps, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I figure Bulma wouldn't have too much of a problem reverse engineering the tech and improving upon it if she really set her mind to it.
Or at the very least, it'd probably be even easier if she just basically straight up copied it. Like, if she straight up copied it, it would be even quicker. Like, she wouldn't...
I would say she would try to make it less uncomfortable to Yamcha, because I don't think that Jiro was particularly worried about ethics of how those bodies work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that too. Anime guy, what if Yamcha didn't get Yamcha'd? Well, if Yamcha survived, he would probably go to Namek, be close to Bulma. Their relationship probably would have been a bit more a chance to survive. Because they'd be able to...
Yeah, I figure that if Yamcha had gone to Namek and gotten stronger and stuff like... Yamcha actually has an incredible track record for making gains in his training when you really break it down. Considering he was probably, even compared to Krillin, because he took a long time off of training, even compared to Krillin, his official stats have him much lower in power level. He made some pretty good gains over the course of training with Kami for the Saiyans. I think he could have had a lot of potential waiting for him when they got to Namek, if he'd had the ability to get his potential unlocked by Guru and kept up his training and stayed close to Bulma. I think it would have probably led to them staying together, and Yamcha would have been in a much better position to like maintain a degree of importance among the core cast of the Z Fighters.
No, I would say so. Alright. Just having to make a couple of notes here, because YouTube is not doing the last 2 super chats, that they're not refreshing it, so we're just making a note of these last 4. So please, guys, remember it's now closed, but we got a note of quite a few left to still run. Alright, okay. Dark Cloud Alpha. What if Pilaf accidentally wished a copy of Kid Goku from Dragon Ball in the beginning of Super? How would everyone deal with him? What would you do? Well, I'm gonna have to play the sound.
I'm sorry, that's a new one.
That is a new one.
We have the other way around. We had the one that was other way around. So what if like GT Goku was sent to the beginning, but like even better, what if they we can connect those two? What if they change places?
Yeah, so that could have been interesting in of itself, but in terms of that, I think Goku would find it pretty neat and that kind of stuff, but I think, it would ultimately, they would try and do it to resolve or fix the problems. There aren't 2 Gokus wandering around. Chi-Chi or like Bulma or Vegeta say, 1 Kakarot's like enough, and that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I would say Vegeta would have go to space to find the Black Star Dragon Balls. And if everything worked as it did and Baby went to Earth, probably fusing with Gohan in that scenario. I don't know if Vegeta would be strong enough to beat him. at this point. Although I don't know if, on the other hand, I don't know how strong baby Gohan would be. That's also
Yeah.
question for later.
Question for later. Right, too superior. What if Piccolo got to train Goten and Trunks seriously? Also, what if Piccolo learned the Kaioken before fighting second form Frieza? Well, if Piccolo did learn the Kaioken, he would definitely know his limits because, you know, if, you know, he would be able to test his limits, and if his body broke, he could just regenerate over time. So at least he would know how...
His limits would be longer because, like, there is, you know, there is a threshold that he can regenerate, as we know, but funny you ask that because in one of our upcoming what ifs, you will see a Kaioken Piccolo.
Yeah, so do stay tuned for that. But in terms of Piccolo got to train Goten and Trunks seriously, I feel like he would struggle at first, but I think ultimately they would take him seriously. But it wouldn't be the same relationship that he would have had with Gohan. Certainly not. Nick Jones, what if Bulma was replaced with Tony Stark? You probably have a lot more kind of glitzy promotional stuff. But I think in terms of like a conglomerate empire and stuff like that, I don't think there'd be much difference.
There would be no Trunks, though.
There would be no Trunks, obviously. No, of course. That's plain and simple, really. Okay, anime guy. What if Vegeta didn't destroy Nappa and took him with him when he left Earth? He probably would train up Nappa because, you know, he would have been so useless in his eyes. So he'd be just like, I need to train you up. You're clearly not useful to me anymore. If you can't keep up, I will kill you. And that kind of stuff. So I think in that kind of sense, that's what he would do. And then they would just try again.
You know, like, Nappa could actually survive through the Frieza saga. And you know what I think would be actually hilarious? Like, as sadistic as original Nappa is, I think he would disapprove of Vegeta leaving Bulma and Trunks.
Oh, really?
As a guy who basically raised Vegeta.
Oh, true. That's a fair point, actually.
I think because even Vegeta got a little bit softened about Saiyan Saga, not much, but a little bit. Enough to soften to not kill the Earthlings on sight. And I think Nappa would have the same treatment. He would chill out, think, okay, we are not fighting those guys. But I think he would be like pretty confused about Vegeta just, refusing to train his son and acknowledge him, basically. I think he would be confused about it. I don't know, what do you think about it, Sophie?
You're gonna have to say again. I was addressing a problem in the chat.
Okay.
What was the question?
What if Vegeta took Nappa after the defeat and took him to Namek, basically? And I said that he could even survive past Namek. And I think that as sadistic Nappa could seem, I think he actually might disapprove of Vegeta leaving Bulma and Trunks.
If Nappa had survived and went to planet Namek, first off, like, okay, he's gonna get a Zenkai boost, clearly. He's probably gonna get a little bit more knowledge of stuff like sensing energy and stuff like that, because I mean Vegeta learned it. Obviously he could teach it to Nappa as well. It would change things up a little bit, but I don't think that Nappa's gains would be enough to really like put him on the same level as Vegeta or anything like that. He couldn't go toe to toe with characters like Zarbon or Dodoria, for example. But I think that if he managed to survive Namek, and that's kind of a big if, I think that he would definitely side with the Earthlings over Frieza, because Nappa was one of the more vocal, like, anti-Frieza members of the Saiyan crew that was existing there. And upon witnessing, if he did, or coming to the knowledge that Goku is the Super Saiyan, I think that he'd be even more inclined to stick around like the Earthlings and stuff like that. Nappa would probably, after the Namek saga, not make a whole lot of difference to the grand scheme of things, though, because I don't see him as a character who, in this particular context, as opposed to something like what if Nappa turned good scenario that Masako has on the channel, I don't see him necessarily as like pushing towards training super hard or anything like that, especially considering just how huge the power gap would become between him and Vegeta by the end of the saga. So I think he'd probably wind up becoming more of a background character, same as like characters like Yamcha and Tien, and would only really come into play when they needed an extra Saiyan body for something.
Okay. Alright, I think that's a fair assessment. Alright, Manifesto. I agree with everyone when they say Vegeta needs to win over Moro, and if Ultra Instinct Goku lost, it would teach Goku a good lesson in humility, you know? I don't think Goku will learn anything from this if this is the actual Goku. In my theory, in basically what Haverok, supposed to me, and I've elaborated on in today's video, is that I feel like the Goku that we've seen in the manga is not the actual Goku. I feel like it's Beerus in disguise. As we know, angels can basically do anything, so this is actually quite easy for me.
And there are some, like one of our commenters even commented that there is a visual cue of that, like Goku having the exact same, angle of how we usually see mirrors.
That high angle shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very interesting. But in terms of Vegeta, he needs this win. This is like echoing along with everyone. And I feel like if Toyotaro does not at least listen, or at least give Vegeta some really good battle scenes with Moro, then I feel like there's really not much hope.
Yeah.
This is like the biggest. This is the biggest open goal they have. This is like, let Vegeta win. Everyone likes that.
Yeah, and that again, that would be such a great way to push him towards the end of Z Vegeta, who is like so cool because
this would tie up one of the best arcs in Super. The best arc in Super, if not a lot of Z. One of the best arcs if you can compare to Z, even. And I feel like the anime could improve upon it even more.
Yeah.
Alright, Tempest Mask. I tried to think up of a noteworthy one. What if Beast beats escaped Vampa and ends up joining the Galactic Patrol? He may object to Jarko's mission in this story. I don't think he would probably get the jurisdiction to be able to actually question Jarko. Because Jarko's a super elite. He's not going to listen to a Saiyan. He's just going to go, "You, Saiyan, are very lucky that I'm even going to give you the time of day. I know what kind of people you guys are, and I'm not going to listen to someone who's not even strong enough to become one of those monkey people. You are clearly not even close or worthy to talk to a super elite." He'd be like a janitor, almost.
He would he would be like what he was. He would be like engineer. He would repair ships, and I think around the Galactic Prisoner arc, he would just provide some background story. Maybe have a scene with Broly later on. He will be like a grappled old man.
True. All right.
Living the history.
That's fair. Super Spork. Any more kaiju-sized foes in Iron Bulma? Not at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that they will probably adapt it in some way. I'm sure that there would be, but fair enough. Sork. What if the Ozaru act more like an ape instead of a rabid beast when the Saiyan doesn't control the form? Well, ape is a rabid beast. Yeah, it is. That's the thing. A giant monkey. Have you seen what gorillas and chimpanzees can do? They're vicious. They are really vicious. The only difference is that they can't generate ki. That's the only difference. Like, you wouldn't want to get on the bad side of a gorilla. Let's just say that.
I mean, they are territorial. That's a different. Like, it all depends on the place in the pack.
Yeah.
And like the thing is that probably when they transform, they considered everything close to them, their territory, and it's not like Ozaru won't be like your nice semi-domesticated apes in the zoos,
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, certainly not. Alright, Stephen Wiener, or Wiener. What if Goku remained a kid during Dragon Ball Z, and what if Gohan was born female? Well, we've already gone over the Gohan was born female. It wouldn't really change much in that sense. So, it's like not that much of a difference, really, in terms of gender. But in terms of Goku remaining a kid during Dragon Ball Z, there'd have to be a reason of some sort. Like, maybe if Pilaf did the wish or something like that. Like, after the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, Goku thought he was going to wake up, but then he didn't. And it was because Pilaf said, oh, let's wish him to remain a kid forever. And that kind of stuff. We probably we wouldn't have Gohan for a start. Chi-Chi would then find, oh, my love. Oh, my God, he's still a kid. This is going to make things really awkward. Chi-Chi would then have to be like with Yamcha. Ox King would be like, oh man, I'm going to play the sound. We've not played it enough. That's pretty much what's going to happen, Steven. It wouldn't bode well. Recon. What if earlier in life, Vegeta disowned Raditz? Well, he's basically disowned him already. Like, even he was barely able to keep him around, but there weren't that many Saiyans in that regard. But if he disowned him much earlier, I think they would just, like, leave Raditz to his own devices. It'd be just like, just go. I don't care what you do. Just go off and die somewhere. Raditz would just go. He would just, like, go off on a mission on his own, destroy the Scouter, and just fade into the background. Probably. It's like, well, okay. I mean, maybe he would try and find Kakarot. Like, he'd go and try and find his brother. But I don't think he wouldn't have the knowledge about where Goku was. So he would have to try and, like, find him over the course of, like, years. So Raditz would go on for a long time.
It could work as a very interesting, but not particularly Dragon Ball Z sort of story. Especially if you wrote it from, like, write it from the perspective of Raditz instead, right?
Yeah. Like,
write it as this journey of this kind of, like, lone wanderer-esque Saiyan character traveling from spaceport to spaceport, Kind of in the way that, like picture Trigun, right? How Vash travels from, like, western desert town to western desert town, all in pursuit of knives. And the reason he's doing that is to kill him, but, like, imagine Raditz, like, going from spaceport to spaceport, from planet to planet, trying to figure out, like, where did my father send my brother? I want to find my brother, And he, of course, runs into a bunch of oddball characters along the way, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a very interesting spin-off. Like, Z would be a very different thing, certainly.
He would probably, like, come across Limo, some characters, cameos, like, later space characters.
Yeah, no, I would say so.
Fun.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, where are we? Mr. Vim, what if Goku married Launch? Oh, we've had that a few times. But basically,
I think I did create a scenario where it worked, but now I can't remember what it was, so I'd have to go back and watch our previous streams.
Okay, well, Mr. Vim, I would say go and check out our previous live streams if you want to get the specific result. I don't know when exactly, but in short, I think it would be a very interesting relationship that would develop over a long period of time. And it would be like, Launch would grow to tolerate Goku being around, and then ultimately, similar to what Bulma had in a way, like when Launch sees Goku as an adult, like, Bulma actually was quite physically attracted to him. But, and she would have acted upon it had she not seen Chi-Chi come to actually do what she was going to do. Like, actually follow up what she promised to do as a child. So, she let Chi-Chi do her thing. Launch, I don't think would. Launch would be saying, oh no, I'm going for this. Yeah, basically, she'd be interested in him in that way. And it would all be very, it'd be kind of curious about as to whether Goku would reciprocate. Maybe.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the scenario that we came up with, because it wasn't a what if Launch married Goku question. It was a different what if that wound up spiraling into, like, oh, this is how Launch and Goku would wind up hooking up, and I can't remember what it was for the life of me.
Well, the thing is, like, Goku, like, for Goku that would be a challenge, both challenges. And I think, like, he treats his fight like one of big fights. So I think someone who, like, changes their temper, but it is a pretty strong personality overall. I think it would be an appeasing, pretty pleasing perspective.
Yeah, no, I would say. Alright, okay. Master Riku. What if Shenron could hear wishes in the mind? Like, say, Videl wishes she re-raised Goku as her own son after hearing his ridiculous wish he's about to make. What? Or like,
What?
resurrect, maybe? Oh, what? What? Okay.
I'm sorry, that's a new one. I'm sorry, that's a new one.
That's a really surreal one, I will say. So, like, okay, the base what if is like, what if Shenron could, you didn't have to say the wish, he could read your mind.
But sometimes you have a stupid thought and he would get you up on it. I think that's the...
Okay, so basically say, oh, Videl does that, Goku is reincarnated again as, you know, a baby, and it looks exactly like Goku, and Gohan would be freaked out in that sense.
Hey, son! Now I'm your son.
Oh.
Now we can both say goodbye to each other. Bye, son!
Okay, for one more time, because how weird that was.
I'm sorry, that's a new one.
That was really weird, but okay. Alright, moving on. Joseph Kent. Who do you think are the 3 new fighters in the game? I think, for me, Piccolo, Raditz, and Topo, maybe?
We mean like fighters, right?
Yeah, because there are 3 more fighters coming.
Okay. So, I would say Raditz, for sure. Our boy Raditz.
Definitely gotta get Raditz.
Yeah, I would say Caulifla because like Kefla doesn't, you know, like Kefla is fine, but I would like to have one of them separate, either Kale or Caulifla or Ribrienne. I'm one of 5 people who actually like Ribrienne, so that and that has to be my Ram boy, my goat boy more. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Alright, jacked out. What if Goku fought another What If Goku? Well, I think...
Like if Goku from like Fem Goku fought Goku from What If Goku won against Master Roshi?
Well, in that case, I think probably like the What If the Fem Goku probably would be like a bit confused, like why this other Goku's not as honorable and a bit more kind of like self-entitled in that regard.
And he doesn't know Kaioken.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she would win. She would win in that sense.
Yeah.
End of simple that. Manifesto. What if certain Super Saiyan forms were more earned in Dragon Ball? Like, say, well, you can. I can give you a short answer for that. What if Kid Goku went Super Saiyan? You can check out that. That's one of the OG What Ifs on the channel, so you can go and check that one out. Yeah. Blake Diamond. What if the Room of Spirit and Time was introduced in the Saiyan Saga and the Dragon team spent a whole week using their 2 years in different groups? Day 1, Gohan and Chaozu, and then Day 2, Gohan and Krillin, etc. Honestly, yeah, granted, they would get gains, but that would come back to bite them later on in the Cell Saga. Like,
yeah, because there's a time limit on until the time of DB Super, there's a time limit on the time chamber. So when they really need it, it would already be too late and they'd have already used all of their gains.
Yeah, so I'm playing the sound. It would help them out in the short term. Yes, agreed. It would help them out a little bit. Nappa would be no problem. Vegeta, they would still need Goku's help, but at least they'd be able to take on Vegeta and try, in that sense. They'd be able to put up more of a fight and buy some time for Goku. But yeah. Manifesto again. What if Cheelai and Broly had kids and not on Vampa? Okay, let's just say it got to the point where Vampa was no longer tenable, and they moved to another planet, and it's not Earth. They just find another planet. That is happening.
I'm sorry, I just had an idea for the spin-off. Married with children, but not on Vampa.
Well, everybody knows that everybody should know by now that I'm a major Broly shipper. So I'm thrilled at the idea of Cheelai and Broly children. But I think the intent behind this question, Masako, is like, what about how would those kids interact with the Z Fighter kids and stuff like that,
Well,
or Pan and Bra and
I think they'd
stuff
be
like that.
absolutely fine because even though Cheelai is not human, the child, I think Isabella has done a drawing. I think named the child Bean, which I thought was cute, absolutely cute. Um, so a little bean. But I think the kid would be half Saiyan, and I feel like in terms of battles and stuff like that, very closely linked with Kakarot. I feel like they would interact really well in that sense. They got good feelings with the Dragon team in that sense. They probably socialize.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Might still have some rage problems if they inherited that from their dad.
yeah, but probably not as more controllable.
Can be pretty sassy. Also, I was just thinking like it's a pretty name and pretty fitting, but like it would be a pretty unusual name for a grown man to have. I was thinking that maybe Bean is short for Benjamin.
Oh, Bean. Oh.
I like the idea. I personally like the idea of it being a daughter, though, because then we'd have so many
Yeah.
daughters, like the entire new
Yeah.
generation of Dragon Ball's or Z Fighter characters. Because you'd have Pan, you'd have Bulla/Bra, you'd have Marin, and you'd have Bean, and you'd have all of these girls that are just total freaking badasses.
Yeah.
True. All right, Nick Wolf.
And 17's daughters.
Yeah, if we ever get to see them again. Ever.
Yeah.
Nick Wolf. 1. Being part Vegeta could Cell resist Barbody's mind control? Well, in that sense, I
I think it's more about ego and willpower than anything
yeah,
else.
it's all about that and anger and resentment. I mean, the only thing that he could possibly have done was all the fact that he had the anger and resent of being constantly vilified by his siblings. Even though he's tried his best to try and be, like, sociable with them and do his best, like, in that sense, that would be the best opportunity. So he would have potential, but Vegeta was the more tantalizing target, in that sense.
Yeah.
And 2, what would Masters Saiyan Krillin and Sophie's Kaiohenshin Krillin say to each other?
Okay, so Masako Saiyan Krillin and the Krillin who knows Kaiohenshin. I think I think, oh gosh, how far into the series is your Saiyan Krillin, Masako?
I think we just
What
finished
saga
the
is he
Saiyan
in?
Saga. I think we're in the middle of it.
Oh, he's just finished the Saiyan saga. Okay. Do you have any plans for Krillin when it comes to changing his relationships and stuff like that?
Well, at the moment, he's kind of like having to kind of like almost like reestablish them with some of them, including with Roshi. But with Goku, it's solid.
I mean changes in romantic relationships.
No,
Do you still intend to hook?
I don't have plans for that.
Because I think what my Krillin would say would be something like, "So, have you made yourself into a Saiyan, huh? Have you hooked up with Bulma yet?"
Wait, what? No, that didn't really occur to me, actually. Oh.
Oh yeah, we've had a kid and everything. She came from the future to help save us. Really cool.
Yeah, that does sound Mondo cool.
Mondo cool.
He gets the phone. It's like, "Hey, Bulma, what are you doing tonight?" It's like, "You saying no, huh?" All right. Okay. Better luck next time. Yeah, it's like Saiyan Krillin is still getting used to it. He has these bold ideas, but he quickly backpedals. Like, "Oh no, never mind. Okay, bye." It's like, "Oh, dang it! I should have been a bit more forceful." It's like, it's like, "Oh, dang it!" It's that kind of stuff.
That was a close one.
Yeah, still coming to terms with that. But yeah, let's move on.
Look, other Krillin. These things take time. I had to work on it. We developed a relationship from the get-go. You unfortunately just kind of missed the train.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like gone. Oh. Alright, John Coleman's up next. What if Gohan took Goku into the time chamber after the heart viruses hit? So basically... Okay, so Goku was taken into the time chamber. He recovered maybe after like a few days or something like that. So yeah, if he had the medicine and they had the means of like to be able to like, you know, keep him nourished and stuff like that, yeah, in theory he'd be cured within minutes. In theory. So they'd be able to do that. But I mean, yeah, it would be a very convenient thing, but it wasn't the time to introduce the time chamber yet. That would have been too convenient.
Yeah.
But it is convenient, absolutely convenient. But in terms of actually making a compelling story, not so much.
Yeah. But I would say that one of the problems that you kind of have to deal with when coming down is how are you going to write the pacing? Like, when I considered using the time chamber in order to justify my what if, I'm like, okay, but I still need to make it so that the story is on a good pace, right? If they had taken Goku into the time chamber when his symptoms started so that he could get better really, really quickly, right? I think it would really have messed up the pacing, because he'd have come out of it. He'd have gotten stronger. He'd have been able to deal with Cell really quickly, and then we wouldn't have had all of the great stuff, or the androids, I should say, because I mean, Cell would also be done with quickly, because the androids would be dealt with quickly. But the point is that the plot would kind of fall apart after Goku gets up and is ready to fight again. So.
Yeah. So no, that is a very absolutely valid point in that sense. Okay. All right. Manifesto. If you could rewrite any character in DB, who would you have? Who would you have? I personally would have Goku in Super or Ultimate Gohan, or Jiren completely redone. Lol. Jiren, for me, for a start, actually give him some personality, sort of like what we got in the manga.
Up until they changed his personality back, because they pointed out to Toyota.
Yeah.
God.
And keep him that way. Just keep it the way he was at the beginning. Like, Jiren is a big one. Definitely.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Give him a personality. That's the key thing. Give him a personality.
he can like, with the build up he has in manga, he can be cool. Just give him that personality.
Yeah, he definitely has the potential to be very cool. You just need to give him that. Absolutely. Alright, okay. John Coleman again. What if before the Tournament of Power, the fighters had 7 days to train, and the entire team of Universe 7 went into the time chamber with Boo? Oh, well, if you guys are forgetting, they were able to dominate already. Like, the majority of what they did, they were already pretty strong. I mean, Universe 7 had, like, took out half of, like, all the combatants in the tournament.
Yeah.
And that's... Sorry, we often overlook that thrilling person, but some of the fighters from stronger universes, quote unquote, didn't score any takedowns.
Well, and here's another thing that I don't think a lot of people have been considering, is that when we see the time chamber utilized at all in Super, it's been shown to have apparently gotten like a huge like diminishing returns effect going on. Because I mean, Vegeta trains in it all the time, and yet he's still not able to surpass Goku, who never trains in it, more or less. And while they did do the whole training thing, they come out with beards and stuff like that, their power was still increased on a level that kind of shows that training in the time chamber doesn't have quite the same effect as it used to. It's very much a diminishing return situation. So
it would help more if you're training with someone new or someone different.
And then of course you have to address the primary power gap here. Isn't the other characters in the Tournament of Power, right? The primary power gap is Jiren and maybe Toppo, since Toppo accesses
and Kefla.
He accesses destructive power, and Kefla. But Jiren is the real goal, right? Jiren's the real goal. But I don't think training in the time chamber would really have brought any of the characters to that height. barring maybe Gohan, if you felt that you could justify it. But that would only be if you wanted to give Gohan a stronger place in the narrative again. So the other Z fighters training like that might give them a bit of a better showing, but ultimately it would still come down to like the same group of fighters more or less going up against Jiren. Otherwise it might wind up being just, another Goku versus Jiren battle, or even a Vegeta versus Jiren battle. And it becomes the same thing we've seen over and over and over again. I actually felt very refreshed when by the end of the Tournament of Power, the last guy standing on Universe 7's team was Android 17.
Yeah. Okay. Mega Chan, you've had this one before, but I need future Vegeta taking Trunks to space instead of staying to fight the androids. Lone Wolf and Cub, anyone? Oh man. Future Vegeta taking Trunks? I mean, if he was like, if he had the chance to do it, he'd have to justify to Bulma, look, I will come back, I will train the boy, he will be strong with me. So basically, you'd have in a way future.
At this point of the story, I would say no. He would take him away and okay, boy, we go to space. Bye, Earth.
Well, he just abandoned the planet.
Well, he might return later to just not because he want to avenge anyone, but because the androids were stronger than him and he wants to beat.
No, he gets wind from Bulma from an ancient transmission that they're really strong. He's like, strong, eh? Well, boy, looks like we got a couple of punching bags to be able to take down. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, you never called me, Vegeta. I was gonna, but I got busy. He said that kind of stuff. Do you know how much hard it is to be a single parent?
Moss,
Wow.
we're getting some complaints that you're a bit quiet.
I'm quiet?
Yeah, compared to me and Haverok.
I'm not really quiet in that regard.
Yeah, because your volume's coming through fine over the Discord call, but I'm not sure how it's showing up on YouTube.
I mean, well, I've tweaked the volumes a bit. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Super Spork, Sophie, any thoughts on Piccolo and Kaioken? I think we've already gone it, but do elaborate again.
I do think Kaioken, honestly, is a huge missed opportunity for Piccolo in the canon. Even if you didn't go beyond what we've seen in the canon showcased by Goku, which ultimately comes down to times 10 or times 20 microbursts, it would still be a huge power boost, keeping Piccolo very relevant, and he would actually have the most opportunity to gain from utilizing Kaioken, because he of course has the regenerative abilities. So his body is more adaptable when it comes to that sort of thing. And while it would probably be painful, Piccolo's dealt with transformations that cause him pain before, because the giant form also causes pain, physical pain. So I think Kaioken is a very, very good and beneficial benefit for Piccolo. I think one of the biggest reasons he didn't use it, didn't learn it and make use of it, is kind of his own sort of ego pride situation showing up, is that he didn't really do any of the actual technical training with King Kai when he was on the planet. He sparred with the other fighters who were there, yes, but he kind of just focused on himself. Meditation, image training, just drinking water, all that kind of stuff. He kind of kept himself separate, except when it came time to spar. So I don't think he really learned it, and that's why he's never used it in the canon. But I do think that as a technique, it's definitely something that would be perfectly suited for him.
Okay. It does seem right up his alley when you look at it. Tomorrow Animations. I've been waiting a few weeks to ask this. What would happen if Beerus and Shin switched roles? Haverok, do you want to take this?
You know what? I think that Universe 7 would be a vastly overpopulated universe, and all those poor planets would be under cold versus boot.
Yeah, it'd be worse than Universe 9.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole point was...
it would be a different kind, because in Universe 9 is what happens after that. Universe 7 would be at this point of like heavy pollution, like it would be basically, imagine a Blade Runner universe on it.
Dystopia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But not yet quite, like, it doesn't come yet.
Okay. That's true. Right. Pursoon 56. Considering his showing in the TOP, what if Master Roshi was taken to the lookout and trained under Kami in preparation for Nappa and Vegeta's arrival? So basically, if Roshi decided to train as well, I mean, in theory, he could be strong, but at that time, he was just like, I'm retired. I'm retired. I don't really care. You guys, you'd be much better than I could. But if he...
And to be quite honest, like Roshi trains himself mostly to stay in shape.
Yeah.
And because his gains are non-existent. How he managed to best some of the fighters is by experience, not by pure strength.
Yeah. He is the quintessential old master who knows all of the ins and outs of the theory when it comes to the practice of martial arts. He knows everything. Like, if you were going straight up mind versus mind, he's the guy who couldn't be beat, so to speak. But his body is old, and he's several hundred years old, and his body is old, and he just wants to relax. He wants to live his hermit lifestyle on his island and not have to worry about stuff. Even like the Tournament of Power was kind of portrayed as kind of like I guess I'll do it since you gotta have more people sort of situation.
Okay.
But yeah,
all right. Nick Wolf, apologies for the ensuing cringe, but what would the Goku and Bulma who are married think of the Goku and Bulma who raised his siblings, and vice versa?
Oh god.
Oh god. Okay.
I'm sorry, that's a new one.
What would they think? Exactly that.
Oh god. Boxa and Bulma would be distraught at the very image.
Yeah, I mean, it would make things incredibly awkward, but hilarity would ensue. So Nick, congratulations, Nick. You just made a very comedic scenario there. The Big Red Bear. What if they brought Cell?
There's another good what if.
Yeah, but maybe a meta of a what if and a what if
for an April Fool's.
Maybe. The Big Red Bear. What if they brought Cell Jr. back in Dragon Ball Super? You could have a real development for him, seeing Gohan as the killer of his family. It'd be interesting given how he felt wronged. Well, technically in the manga they are around on 17's island in theory. They are around, so if you read the manga,
which kind of makes sense. Like it's weird that they appear now, but it kind of makes if they work exactly like Cell.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Chris G, what if Frieza and Cooler were rivals, not enemies? Well, if they were rivals, it would probably make things even more dangerous because they'd be like trying to strive each other and stuff.
I mean, they kind like in the in the movie universe, they kinda are. Like they never openly fight each. Like
yeah, they're not hostile.
They have common interest of their race. It's like it's that moment in Xenoverse when they teach you the golden transformation. Basically, they said that you bested us. Doesn't matter as long as somebody from our race is a pinnacle of the species. Like their mentality is they fight each other, they compete with each other, yes, but the point is that they want their own species to be the absolute pinnacle. So it makes sense for them. Like they challenge each other because it's in their genes, basically. To fight, to double cross, to have that small inch of betrayal, but they have common interest in a way. Kind of like the Sith,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's it. That sounds cool. Nice. Alright, Jesse Griffin. What if a scientist did tests with splicing Saiyan DNA with others to see which had the most potential after being inspired by the human crossbreeds? Well, I feel like you pretty much would get, like, similar things in a way. That, you know, I feel like any humanoid hybrid with a Saiyan would probably be just as potent. It's just the combination of Chi-Chi and Goku in that regard. Yeah, it was just particularly fiery. And it was like a one-time thing, because Goten, you know, is nowhere near that. Nowhere like that. So it was more like just a freak occurrence. A mutation, almost. So, I feel like so long as you can have a humanoid being with a Saiyan, you pretty much would get similar results. You know, Super Saiyan is potentially possible. It would just depends on terms of efficacy and power acquisition, that kind of stuff. But in terms of Saiyan DNA, you probably you'd end up with something similar to Bio Broly. Just make sure keep your examples away from powerful goop in regard.
Yeah, seriously.
Keep them away
you don't
from
keep
Gwyneth
your powerful
Paltrow.
acids.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Don't put them near the goop lab. Let's just say that. Rufael, what if Raditz at the start of Z went to future Trunks' Earth when Goku Black was destroying it, instead of regular Earth? Let's say all is due to Toa. Oh, so basically if Toa plays a prank, and just goes like, you know, transports Raditz's ship to Goku Black's planet.
I would say it sounds more like Fu thing to do.
Oh, a few thing, okay.
Few thing, yeah.
You know, basically DragonBall's answer to Kabuto. You know, I wish to capture all these different experimental fighters with my Dragon Ball cards. What the heck are those?
Oh god,
Dragon
wow.
info
I
cards.
just oh man, I just went all the way back to 2008.
With my Dragon info cards. With my Dragon info cards. That kind of stuff.
With my dragon.
The heck
God.
are those? Alright.
They're God key encoded.
Manifesto. Hey, Masako, if green hair is divine mind for Vegeta, then what does that mean for OG or Dragon Ball Super Broly when he has green hair? Is he truly not legendary? Ah, it's a different shade of green. It's lime green. Whereas, like, divine mind is minty green. Vegeta is minty fresh. That's the difference. Yeah, that lime green shade is legendary. That's the difference.
That minty is focused, you know.
Mint is inherently focused. Yes. John Coleman. What if Piccolo took Gohan into the time chamber before the Saiyans arrived? Well, if he did, they probably would get gains, but it's like what we were talking about earlier. It would mean that, okay, it would mean that Gohan would only have one go. Like, one go left. And he wouldn't be able to go in again. But then again, he doesn't really use it again, so yeah, they could get away with it. And Piccolo probably would be able to train there a bit longer in the Cell Saga, because he would at least know what to expect in that sense. So, I think it would provide Gohan some kind of gains, as well as Piccolo. They'd be able to take on Nappa and win.
I think that's the biggest moment when Toriyama dropped the ball Piccolo, because I think he could get enough gains to at least be semi-perfect Cell levels of power, if not higher. You know, and still be like this is the exact moment when it shifted for Piccolo to fade in the back.
Yeah, so Piccolo would actually be quite formidable if he went in there again. Nick Wolf. Oh no, this is much, much worse than I thought. What would Bulma and Boxer's reaction be to Gohan briefs? Ah, where's the brain bleach? Gohan. Oh, jeez. It's like, oh my god, we had kids. Ah! Like, that would terrify. Oh no, Nick. Oh, dude. Why? Okay, but why though?
I do think though they'd be won over by just how charming little Gohan is, and so they'd find him adorable and they'd love him, but they'd also be a little weirded out knowing that he came from alternate versions of
at least
themselves.
it's not Joffrey. Come on.
Yeah, true. Let's go back to Rufael's thing for a second. Basically, if Raditz did, I'm pretty sure Few would just mess with his head. Like, Raditz would find Goku Black and be like, yo, brother, you have to come with me in order to protect the Saiyan race. It's like, what, who are you? It's like, don't you recognize me? I'm your brother, Raditz. I do not have brothers. We Kais do not have brothers. We do not need them. What? What have you been smoking, Kakarot? I am not Kakarot. I am Goku. I am black.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave because clearly you're just being a bit of a buffoon.
And then basically he would either like toy with Raditz, or ultimately he would just destroy him there and then.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have Raditz come to the original Earth, that's for sure. It would leave a very big hole in that timeline. Alright, this next one. Manifesto. If anyone else got the Wrathful form aside from Broly, who else would you think would get it and why? I'm talking about Universe 7 Saiyans only. Probably Vegeta, probably. Like, him being able to manifest that power again, him knowing how to control it without the need of a tail.
Pan.
Yeah.
That would be my one.
No.
You say
Pan.
Pan.
Pan would be good.
Wrathful
Yeah,
form
that would
Pan.
be...
Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. That'd be nuts.
Yeah.
She's already being kind of set up as this super amazing prodigy person who's basically very, very similar to Broly in a lot of ways. So
Yeah, let's
her
just go,
getting
let's
the
just go.
wrathful form.
Yeah, we're going with Pan. That's a brilliant
Pan.
Yeah,
Pan
definitely.
boss baby form.
Boss baby. Isaiah.
Oh god.
Assuming some of Dragon Ball Zero happened and Raditz and Turles were teammates once, what if Raditz was sent to find Turles before Goku? I feel like if they were teammates, I feel like Raditz and Turles would be a good team up. And I think Turles would train Raditz up a bit, like saying, look, before we go and get your brother, you are really weak. I cannot be having you being a liability. Like, I need to train you up some more. Like, not a lot, but just enough, because, you know, he would just think, oh, Kakarot's already quite weak. I only need to at least train you up to at least be Nappa levels of power. Like, be an equal to Nappa and that kind of stuff. Then you wouldn't be as much of
Your
an
power is currently sitting at 1 Raditz. It needs to be at least as high as 5 Raditzes.
It's like,
I really wish people didn't use that power scale. It's really, really demeaning.
that kind of stuff. Podo. Podo. This is an acting act. Oh, you're approaching me. Instead of running away, you're coming right toward me. Yeah, I can't deck you in the schnoz without coming closer. Oh, then come as close as you like. It's a JoJo reference, apparently. Yeah.
I'm familiar with the meme.
Alright. Fuji Masaki. What if Yamcha opens a restaurant and becomes a world-known chef than a baseball player? For an April Fool's post, stay safe, guys. You too, Fuji. Oh, no. Yamcha would have a sports bar and grill. Because that's what every ex-sports player in America tends to have. Like, everywhere I go, all the airports I've been to, there is a sports bar and grill, either by an ex-baseball player or a football player. Like, seriously.
And it would be called the Desert Bandit.
Oh, of course, absolutely. There'd be all sorts of, like, Mexican food on there, you know, because the desert thing with tacos, all sorts of things. Basically, it's just a place that Yamcha would just eat because, like, hey, why would I go and eat anywhere else as they make the food I like? There you go. Who needs variety? Who needs variety when you got the Desert Bandit?
And you can take your pets in because you can feed your cats and your wolves, I mean dogs.
Yeah, they've got an outdoor section like set up to where you can tie your pets to the table and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just have them eat with you.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Pets love
Shades.
food. Yeah. Because we at Desert Bandit know that pets love food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I think that pretty much answers that question in that sense. All right, Hannah Rowan is next. What if Tenshinhan could use more of his third eye's power? What kind of powers could it grant, and how much stronger would he be? I feel like he'd be able to actually really be able to even more effectively pick chakra points and being able to eliminate them.
Slight clairvoyance, like seeing 2 seconds in the future.
Yeah, so basically, like, almost it's not time skip, but it's a similar trait.
Yeah.
But it's just more kind of like in terms of perception and being able to, like, it's like in martial arts, they say don't look at the person, look at where their limbs are going and being able to anticipate. It's more of anticipation rather than, you know, seeing the future.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. The simple as that. Master Riku, Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be a planet-shattering kaboom. Oh, my finger's broken. I wonder where the shot went. It's just like, yeah, I love those improvisational things. For R&R episode 5, because we're getting a little Karibo in. He's recording lines right now for a little Frieza cameo. I did a little bit for the demo for, like, you know, just placeholder. And I got to say, gosh, that Raditz sounds so cool. It's one of the weirdest things I said. And it was like, I heard it back and I was like, dang it, I actually did really well for this. I think I actually want to keep this. Yeah. It's like, oh, dang, I almost don't want LK in this now, but it's like...
I think that was one of your best performances as Frieza, honestly.
Because it was meant to be such a pantomime. It's like, I didn't mention I was evil, because I am. Very much so. It's like, oh, there will always, that version will survive, and I will save that for the patrons. If you want to be a patron or a member, you know what to do. There we go. There's your David. What if Broly came to Earth while he was training with Kami? Okay, so basically, Broly comes along, Kami adopts him, and is able to sense that he has great turbulence in his mind. He would just try and control his mind before getting him stronger.
Or he would try to purge the evil side of Broly from him.
Yeah. I think that sounds about right. Mm.
Can you imagine split Broly into two, into Good Boy Broly and Evil Boy Broly?
Oh man, jeez.
So you'd have Super Broly and you'd have Z Broly.
Yeah.
Oof. That'd be interesting, certainly, that's for sure. Team Valor. What if Android 8 had more of a prominent role with the Z Fighters and had more improvement thanks to Bulma and Dr. Bruce's engineering skills, becoming one of the main Z Fighters? Well, the thing is, though, that's not really in his nature. The only way you could...
It kind of goes against his character.
The only way you could get him to do it is he would only say, I will only do it if it actually means I could protect my friends. That's all he'd do it. He wouldn't do it to actively destroy people. He'd only do it so he could actually defend the village he lives in. That's the only way he'd do it, and he would compromise with Bulma and say, look, I appreciate the handout and gesture, but all I want to do is protect my friends. Can you at least appreciate that? They would come to a compromise. Like, just in a way, so that means he'd be able to, he'd be strong enough to be able to protect his village. Like, needn't worry about, bandits or anything like that ever again. In that sense. It'd be just more like, he's doing it for his friends, rather than not being a hero. That's the only way I could think it would work.
To me, the biggest missed opportunity is that we never seen 8 into 16.
Yeah, that is a shame. That is unfortunate. It would have been really nice. Very wholesome. Elijah Guerrero. What if the devil fruit was in Dragon Ball?
Oof. Well, I can't really speak to this because if the devil fruit's from One Piece, right? If I'm recalling correctly, I don't know the full scope of that. But I mean, if there was something in there that gave people more or less superpowers, it might present an interesting opportunity for all of those humans that have been left behind by all of the Saiyans.
Yeah, that is true. But if Goku had the gum fruit, Piccolo would just go like, "Am I a joke to you?" As simple as that. Paparacha.
Oh gosh.
April Fool's good boyfinity. Hashtag good boyfinity. Basically, take all the good boys and put them in a tournament. Who would win?
Oh my! Good boy Frieza.
Good boy Frieza.
Good boy Raditz.
Good boy 21. So far, good boy 21 would be the winner.
Yeah. Gotta go with good boy 21.
Vulcan. What if Piccolo fused with Guru? What if Goku married Suno? What if Bardock and Gine went to Earth with Goku? And what if Bardock and Gine's team lived? Jeez,
we have
Vulcan.
all of those.
Okay, let's go through them quickly. Piccolo fused with Guru. Not really possible because they're basically... Guru is a dragon clan, Piccolo's a warrior clan. Unless Guru was able to find a way around it. It's like, I will be in the background. Well, just hope I don't have your insane eating habit. Hey! I resent that remark! It's like, fine, jeez, fine.
Very well. After this, we're going to Dairy Queen. Oh, god damn it. I don't even detail. Dairy Queen! That kind of stuff. Well,
We don't even have digestive organs.
I don't care. The slushies sound amazing. Do you know how long I've been in this chair? Longer since before you were born. I have a very big. Never mind.
Yeah, but okay, in all seriousness, if they could fuse, it'd be like the ultimate Namekian, making Dragon Balls and could kick your butt, pretty much. What if Goku married Suno? That'd be a very harmonious relationship. Suno appreciating Goku and actually loving Goku for who he is, entirely, without question. Very, very submissive, but also very understanding and progressive at the same time. Like, let Goku do his thing and respect him for it, and that kind of stuff. But it would be a very good relationship, I'd say. Bardock and Gine went to Earth with Goku. Gine would stay back on Earth with Goku. Bardock would just, like, go and flit off somewhere. And if the team still lived, I think they'd just go off in space. Yeah, Bardock would just be with his team and go explore space and stuff like that. That kind of stuff. Okay, Vulcan again. What if Nappa married Ranfan in the Nappa What If? Thoughts? Oh, jeez. Okay.
I'm sorry, that's a new one.
If, you know, good boy Nappa married Ranfan, Haverok, what would you say?
You know, like, I think that would be like him, you know, experimenting with relationships to the point where, you know, like, oh yeah, let's try to be with you know, with a much younger person, you know, and try to find balance.
Yeah, I feel like
that,
Ranfan's,
you know?
I think for Nappa, Ranfan's way too forward. Like, basically on the first date, she takes clothes off. It's like,
Whoa, ma'am, jeez. I know. I'm gonna say I'm very honest. You are a very attractive young lady. But I have standards. You know.
What I wanted to finish up, you know, like, this would go under that trope of, you know, of midlife crisis and trying to go.
yeah, Nappa's trying it, and he's just like,
No, this isn't working. No. I'm sorry. You're a very attractive young woman, Ramfam, but I don't know. I'm getting too old for this. I'd just rather be honest and be. It's like, well, I respect your understanding. Thank you. You're gonna be a real catch for someone. It's like, it'd be just like they'd hug it out. They'd hug it out afterwards. Yeah, it's like that kind of thing.
And as we previously established, cat loves food. Yeah.
I like the take on Nappa as because he's an older Saiyan, he's not as into like the thought of having like an involved relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
He never really had
So-
one. That's
so-
the thing. For the longest
Yeah.
time, his life was look after Vegeta. That's it.
Yeah, look after Vegeta, fight, conquer, look after Vegeta.
And repeat.
All those things sometimes at the same time.
Yeah.
Obey Frieza, seethe deep inside the whole time.
There you go.
And take care of Cyberman.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, Marcellus Thomas. What if Tarbal went to Earth after Frieza? If Tarbal arrived after the Frieza saga, yeah, he'd be a little less weak in comparison, but I feel like he would be a bit like, still be a bit outclassed, but hopefully they have a better idea on how to actually cope with him. It would give a better dynamic to Vegeta. It'd make him a more interesting character for the team.
If you meant that he was going specifically after Frieza in, I don't know, Resurrection F. Frieza, I'm here to avenge my planet. Okay, lol. No. That'd be.
You serious, bro? Really? You serious? That kind
I
of
will-
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, Paparacha. What if the Son family got a puppy and Goku misunderstood Chi-Chi's orders to train it? Let's say in the 3 years before the androids. Misunderstood Chi-Chi's order to train... Oh. It's like, Goku, I want you to train the dog. And then he's looking at but he looks from Chi-Chi to the dog, to Chi-Chi to the dog. Okay.
This is gonna be a real. This is gonna be my greatest challenge yet.
The origin story of Bergamo.
Yeah, it's the origin story, and they name it Bergamo. And then and he meets Bergamo later, and Bergamo is just like, huh, your name's oh, you have the same name as my pet dog. Bergamo's like, what? You named a vile creature after me? It's like, well, I didn't know that you existed, so to be fair.
Also, he's a very talented dog.
He knows Kaioken and Spirit Bomb and all those things I never teach to my friends or my
I taught him all of those techniques that I have that I definitely didn't steal from anyone else.
Now I'm actually kind of jealous.
Wait, Dad, are you saying that you taught him all those techniques but didn't teach me?
Sure, he was a really good listener and he never taught back.
He was my and he was
wow,
my
thanks, Dad.
He was my second plan. If you failed against Perfect Cell, he would have
never seen that coming.
You have that dog fighting Cell. That's a really ripped dog, you know. Like.
B, eat your heart out. Alright, okay. Last one. Okay. Mr. Michael Law, I've been looking through the super chats and I've not seen your super chat in here. I've got a list here. So basically it's either YouTube absorbed it, but basically right now it's just like I've looked through the list and I haven't seen it. So we didn't have it according to this list. But so sorry about that. That's probably YouTube's fault. Firethorn is the last one. What if Frieza met abridged Frieza? Well, to be fair, they're almost the same thing, but the abridged Frieza is just more exaggerated. Like, in that regard. So I feel like they get on, but I feel like eventually it was just like, wait, second, yeah, the official Frieza will go, wait. Take it down a notch, brother. Take it down a notch, okay? But then basically you get what Frost and Frieza do. Just learn never trust anyone in that sense.
Yeah.
Never trust anyone, not even yourself.
Yeah. To Frieza should totally do that.
Absolutely. Even to himself. It's like, yeah. Alright, okay. That is it. That is everything. That we've gone through all the ones that we actually have on our list. Michael Law, I am looking through just to make sure that we didn't miss yours. I don't remember seeing it. And I'm looking through the list right now again for you.
Oh, I think I remember this one from a previous one. He said it's what if Kami gained his youth when Demon King Piccolo wished for his.
Okay, well okay, well let's wrap that through quickly. And Mike Val, we will do yours, but we will have to keep it short. Podo, I'm sorry, but
Podo, come on, man.
Podo, you know I've looked through, and unfortunately that must be on YouTube's side. I'm afraid. Podo, we do appreciate it, but you know I've got a list and I've been going through it.
Yeah, we've got a list and we're trying to figure it out, but we apparently don't have all of them, or YouTube's eaten them, but
yeah,
we can't account for YouTube doing that.
That's the thing. The ones I'm reading out are the ones that I've got on the screen. So that is the truth. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, Podo. You can blame it's hashtag YT being YT. And Radthreemon, all the ones I did read, are basically ones I read every single one pretty much that I get.
He says it was from last. He said it was from last session. Did we not get to a super chat last?
No, we did.
I could have sworn we did.
We read them all. Yeah, that's the thing. We did read them all. So all I can say is, guys, just double check the last week's archive. We do archive them.
Also, Mike Val, we have. Oh god dang. Mike Val, we have answered what if Chi-Chi was a Z fighter in previous videos. It's one of those things. It's probably going to go in an FAQ. And okay, real quick, Strider Blaze. What if in the Tournament of Power, Gohan purpose teaching everyone the fusion dance before the tournament? I think it might have been intriguing, but ultimately I think most of the fighters on Universe 7 would have still wound up being knocked out, and the end would have still wound up coming about the same way it did in canon.
Yeah.
We apologize for any super chats that we were that we missed because YouTube ate them. Unfortunately, we can't account for that, and if we can't find them, then we can't say them, and we can't account for the idea. We can't account for the fact that you actually super chatted. You know,
We do appreciate the super chats in as themselves, but in fact, unfortunately, if YouTube doesn't put them up on screen for us to read, then yeah, we can't read them. That's the long and the short of it.
And we are on a time constraint because Masako and Haverok they stay up late for this. it's nighttime where they're at.
Yeah, DragonBallZ, it's okay. Yeah, it is very much appreciated, especially at this difficult time. It really does mean a lot.
We are super appreciated.
Yeah. We are making the effort to read every single one. That's why we spend 3 hours reading these. So you know, we do our best. We do our best with what we've been given. So if we do miss any, it is of no ill intent. Let's just blame YouTube. We blame YouTube for everything. You know. There you go. So we've done our best. But what was that one from last week? Like Master Roshi. Oh, Kami being young and going back to fight King Piccolo or something like that.
I believe that one was the Mr. Michael Law one, was Kami gaining his youth when Demon King Piccolo wished for his.
I think I remember doing that.
Yeah,
I remember saying it, but basically,
I feel like we did it.
Okay, for the sake of the argument, if he did, he would then come down and he would like say, "Look, this is beyond my jurisdiction. I'm not supposed to be down here, but this is an extraneous circumstance which could threaten the entire planet. There will not be a planet to guard." So he would like say, "Look, you know, we need to do this. I need to come down and help. And I will serve my penance afterwards once everything is said and done." Like, he will atone for this afterwards once the planet has been saved. And I think that would be it.
Yeah.
Okay. I also asked Brad Threemon what was yours, and we can address that real quick before we leave because it is almost 3 hours, and Moss and have to sleep.
Yeah, we do try and get through them all, as we can, and we will make a special dispensation for you, Brad Threemon.
Yeah, and we do appreciate all of the interaction in the super chats and everything, especially in this difficult time. I know it's difficult for me. I'm currently laid off at the moment, so just understand that we can't account for when #YT being YT.
Yeah, I mean, if we could, then there wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, I think. Oh, he asked about the Saiyans getting stuck on Earth in the Saiyan saga, like their pods were destroyed.
I think we've done that.
And
we have done that. I remember.
And where?
Yeah, but quickly, no.
Okay, well.
Well, it would be difficult because if they got stuck on Earth because their pods were destroyed, but Piccolo still died over the course of the battle, they wouldn't have DragonBallZ. So they would probably still wind up having to utilize some kind of spacecraft, even if it meant salvaging Goku's old spacecraft, like they did for designing the capsule spaceship, and then just going to Namek later in the series. Chances are high that Frieza wouldn't acquire immortality right away because he wouldn't have the password to access the DragonBallZ. But Dende would be dead, which would mean very bad things for the future. And whew, man, most of the Namekians would probably be dead. Even Guru himself might be dead by the time they arrived. But if they're lucky enough, they could get there with the DragonBallZ. And it would probably just amount to like Vegeta and Nappa, if Nappa's still alive. They would probably, reluctantly join up with the Z Fighters and then become good guys a little bit earlier. That's how I can kind of see it playing out. If it turns into a situation where Frieza doesn't just win outright, Yeah.
No, I would say that's pretty fair and concise. But anyway, that is all for today, everybody. We really do appreciate all your support, especially in these times. And all we can do right now...
Thank you all for your well wishes.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And we all wish the same thing for you guys as well. And we all doing this to try and like provide some light relief, because we all know Dragon Ball is still a thing. So we are wanting to really provide some good entertainment in that regard. So, absolutely. So, all that remains to be said is that hope you all stay safe, wash your hands, stay at home if you can, and just, you know, make sure our pets are loving this time. All this attention. I remember reading an article about a dachshund who basically had wagged his tail so much he sprained it.
Yeah.
He was just so happy. He was just so... The papa was just so happy everyone was there. He hurt his tail. It's adorable and also really sad.
Having a dachshund, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that they did it. Like,
yeah, but yeah. So we really do appreciate it, everyone. And the next video we're going to be having on the channel is a doozy. It's What If Frieza Turned Good Part 4, and it's going to be good. And if all goes well, R&R episode 5 we will hopefully have a week tomorrow. That's very tentative, but we're looking at an April the 3rd release. We're looking at that. If all goes well, we can have it for then. But, you know, that's tentative. But anyway, until next time, guys, I hope you're all doing well, and all that remains to be said is just take care, and thank you for watching, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye!